Hello, everybody. Good morning and welcome back to the live broadcast coming to you with great energy here from Amsterdam at Cisco Live 2024. We are delighted to have you on the live stream. If this is the first opportunity you've had to join us, welcome to the fold. We are having so much fun here. The energy has been absolutely amazing. If you missed anything yesterday and you're thinking, oh, I can't believe I actually passed these things by, not a problem. Just look for those sessions on demand at CiscoLive.com. And remember, please keep reaching out to us on social media using hashtag CiscoLiveEMEA. You'll get all of the behind-the-scenes insights today, all of the great partner and executive interviews and exclusive content. We're going to show you all the innovation talks and demos of all of our latest, most exciting products, including all of the latest and greatest in AI and in generative AI. What we're going to do right now is check out a few highlights from yesterday, from day one. Enjoy the highlights reel. I will meet you right back here in about a minute and a half. Yeah, we don't have any fun here at all at the show. This shows you, if you are not here with us at Cisco Live, you've got to make a way to get here, to be with the people, and to be a part of the incredible action going on. My name is Steve Moulter, and as I said, we have got 4 hosts here at the show, 3 more of them who are going to join me throughout the day, and right now 2 of them are hanging out in the world of solutions right as day 2 kicks off. And I see one of them there in my camera. Hello, Mr. Rob Boyd.
Well, hello, Mr. Steve. How are you doing this morning?
I'm great. I'm having a great time. Things aren't really busy and hectic here yet like they are for you, but this always gets me excited here at the beginning of a show day.
Well, you know what I was thinking? I feel like today is the day where everybody's kind of settled in. You know where you need to go. You understand the hallways. You understand where everything was placed. So now you can confidently say, I'm going to execute on my active to-do list today, right? I want to meet certain people, I want to learn certain things, solve certain problems. You agree? Maybe we're still not in conversation. Either way, guys, while I'm here, I just want to talk a little bit about the fact that I was told I'd be in a skybox this morning. Turns out it's just a service balcony. But either way, the view is fantastic. If you look out over, they just opened the show floor, so people are starting to make their way in. It's going to get more and more crowded. And in fact, somewhere out here, I've got my co-host, well, it's also Steve's co-host. Cedric is wait, I think he's over here in front of the Black Ops WebEx booth.
Hey there, Rob.
Cedric, how are you?
Good morning. Yeah, so I'm here on the show floor. It's day 2 of Cisco Live here in Amsterdam. We're having so much fun. As we know, the world of solutions just opened. I can see people flowing in, and I'm just going to have a walk around because there's really a lot to explore. To start with, we have WebEx Corner here by Cisco. They have really great coffee, so we'll visit them a little bit later today. And then yesterday we had a really great day where we talked about FSO, and Ronak gave a really inspiring innovation talk and came out to the studio with us. So that's on this side. If you're interested in that, there's more to explore here. We have some really cool seating areas as well. As Rob said, if you want to just sit down and catch up with some old friends, this is here. There is food, there are drinks. Here there is a small medium business part as well. There's just too much to explore. So if you just zoom out, maybe cameraman, we have CX, we have the showcase behind us, security, FSO, collab. We have the sustainability zone that we will do later. So just stay tuned for the show. And I think we can go back to Steve right now. Steve.
Thank you so much, Cedric. I appreciate it, and thank you, Rob. My friends, hopefully we'll get a chance to see one another. Again, I'm trapped here. You're out there having all the fun, but I hope we get an opportunity to talk with one another. The folks who go out and they roam with our incredible RF camera crew, they are the eyes and ears for all of us who are here in the TV studio. And if you are with us here in Amsterdam and hearing the broadcast, please come on by, visit. We would love to see each and every one of you and say hi. Right now, we're going to dive into a fantastic partnership between Cisco and Northvolt. Northvolt is a company that is using Cisco switches to spin up new factories quickly, to automate routine tasks, to enable remote operations with data-driven decisions, full automation, and sustainable battery production. This is what our Cisco partnerships are built on and built to create, so you can think about it as well. Samuel Pasquier is with me. Samuel is Cisco's VP of IoT Product Management. How are you today, Samuel?
Very good. Very happy to be here today.
I am so glad that both of you are here with us. I'm going to go ahead and take a step back. I'm going to let you introduce our special guest today and let the two of you have a great conversation. Away you go.
Thank you, Steve, and welcome everyone. So today with me I have Mirko Miloslavljevic. He's a Senior Director of Infrastructure and IT Operation at Northvolt. And thank you so much for joining us on stage, Marco. Very nice to have you here.
Thank you for having me. Glad to be here.
Thank you. So, obviously, not everyone may know Northvolt, and you have a very interesting company with. Can you tell us a little bit more about with the company and the vision of the company?
Yeah, it's Northvolt was really established to help and push transition to the decarbonized future, to build a sustainable battery industry, and really to build the greenest battery around. That does sound like a tall order, but we've made quite significant progress on that. And today we partner with key and with leaders in manufacturing and automotive industry. We have R&D and production facilities across Europe and North America. We deliver cells from our Northvolt ET, which is the first European homegrown battery gigafactory.
Yeah. Thank you, Marco. So obviously you are competing with a very well-established player. So what are you doing differently to be able to compete?
So building batteries is really, really complex. I did not know that before joining Northvolt. So literally everything you can do to get these marginal gains from optimizing your processes to material movement, anything you can do to improve the operations really has a tangible and direct impact. So when we of course use technology, we are really, as you said, data driven, meaning that we try to unlock the cloud. We use bidirectional communication with to each and every asset in our production is individually traced. We collect large sets of event and telemetry data to help us optimize our production. We build digital twins of cells and production equipment. We build dashboards for real-time updates on the uptime, performance, notifications, and for engineering and production improvements. We collect more than 10,000 data points per each cell we produce. Wow. So it all together comes as one something that we call North Cloud. It's a set of digital services that helps us do all of these things.
So data is a new gold these days. It's very important, and we heard a lot about what we can do with data and AI at Cisco Live this week. But so tell us, with this data-driven vision that you have, what are the challenges that you face to implement this vision?
Well, I mean, of course, Northvolt as such, building an industry from scratch is very, very challenging, even in Europe. Especially in automotive, we have very, very high customer demands. You could, of course, say that our biggest challenge is producing at scale and at speed. We approach these challenges in an iterative manner. We build blueprints, we improve these blueprints, we look at all of these disciplines, all of these domains, electromechanical, construction, logistics, processes, and we try to improve this blueprint and build every next facility more efficient than the previous one. That's IT. How IT helps there is, of course, we follow that vision. We build a completely vertically integrated infrastructure. We can converge the IT and OT. We collect from all the way from the sensor level data to the application level layer in the cloud. We have that kind of vertical integration in, and IT also tries to build that infrastructure with a lot of automation, with capabilities to manage remotely. We try to have the zero-touch principle to make sure that we have a minimal talent footprint at each site, because it's very difficult to hire and recruit in north of Sweden. Usually the green energy and abundance of talent doesn't always come together, so we have to be very creative, and we use tech to help us there.
Fantastic. So, you got my interest. We are today at Cisco Live Amsterdam. So I have to ask you, why did you pick Cisco, and why Cisco Industrial Portfolio, all right?
Yeah, so when we set to do this, we had these design principles. We knew that we wanted to be data-driven. We needed to be data-driven. So we needed to build this completely integrated infrastructure. And when we went out, asked our partners and design partners to kind of come back. We sent the RFQs out. Most of them came back with a full Cisco-based solution because, and we already knew that. Cisco is one of the few players that is well established and has a comprehensive portfolio in each of these domains, from campus networking, data center networking, OT and industrial as well. So having an integrated and coherent ecosystem to move around, and that really helped us to unlock all of these capabilities. And then, of course, we could have went for some kind of best of breed, but we chose to go with a partner, and Cisco has been a partner. Cisco has been behind us. We do a lot of stuff. We kind of push the envelope a bit, and it's very, very important to have a partner behind our back who can validate our designs, who can say, yes, this will work. And that has been a really good relationship so far.
Well, thank you for your trust, and thank you for working with Cisco. So now that you have been deploying the Cisco infrastructure and the Cisco industrial networking portfolio, what are some of the benefits you have seen in your day-to-day operation, in your execution, right?
Yeah, so benefits is clearly that we have this completely integrated ecosystem, and we can use all sorts of tools and capabilities to help us for observability, automation, from Catalyst to rollout to simply scale. So we really benefit a lot from having that single ecosystem.
Well, thank you so much, Marco, and I'm glad you picked Cisco, and hopefully we can help you to.
We're glad to
execute in the north of Sweden. So thank
you
you so much, and thank you for joining us here today.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, thank you. Such a pleasure to have both of you with us today. First of all, Samuel, I want to thank you for bringing us this story, for bringing Marco in. And Marco, as you just said, really fantastic partnership, and as Samuel said, I'll echo it. Thank you for your trust and for partnering with us over this time. I think Northvolt has done some remarkable things, and I'm glad we've been able to do them together. So glad to get you in with us here this morning. So we are going to go out into the world of solutions right now. We're going to check in with Cedric Devalder, who's over at IoT with one of my favorite humans anywhere at Cisco. He can't hear me right now, but Cedric will pass that along. Richard Mullen, who is our leader of IoT operations. Let's send it on out to you.
Awesome, great. Awesome, Steve. Great. Thank you so much. As you said, Richard, Steve said you're his favorite person.
Oh, thanks,
Steve.
One of his favorite it's always good to hear that.
Great. And you look smart today.
Oh, thanks.
Great. But anyway, we are here at the IoT wall in the Cisco showcase, just around like the corner from where the TV studio is. And as you heard in the interview, at Cisco, we like to get challenged. And Richard is going to tell us more about
Yeah,
that.
absolutely. As we just heard in the interview piece, we have a lot of different types of requests that are coming in with customers, and that's what we've worked on articulating here on our industrial IoT wall. I'm going to just give you guys a really quick tour. If you're here at Cisco Live, please come and see us because we've got a lot of solutions that we can walk you through. So we're going to start at this end where we're really looking at kind of wireless types of solutions for either AGVs or rail or what we're doing at like hauling. We use kind of a mix of either ultra-reliable wireless backhaul, so a really special type of 6G technology for high bandwidth, low latency, and a lot of different ways that you can apply that. So we can put that on mining vehicles, or we're doing some stuff even offshore, both in Europe and in the United States, around providing connectivity when you think about like an offshore wind farm and being able to create that and create a mesh environment. And then we backhaul data into that. One of the new solutions that we have it illustrated, and then tomorrow, or if you come see us today, will be the coffee machine that we've got set up, is secure equipment access. So when you've got all sorts of things out in the environment, the idea is, hey, instead of setting up a VPN, how can I tunnel into this remote traffic cabinet that's right at the intersection? So we really established that in the cloud. That allows our remote technician to come in and then match the IP address and kind of fix a piece of industrial equipment without ever having to roll a truck. And we did that with our coffee machine demo yesterday. We had somebody actually tunnel in and fix the machine for us, and we were setting up on Sunday. So a new technology that we're bringing to make it just these assets easier to both secure as well as access into the field. Our security compliance piece around just building segmentation, seeing what's on your OT network, and then building security policy around that. IT-OT convergence is a really big theme that we're seeing this year. So taking really the WAN and the LAN in a traditional kind of hub spoke branch office location, but now applying that into pipelines, high voltage substations, water systems, where we take a routing product such as this and combine it with our switching, and then we're able to basically bring Catalyst Center or SD-WAN manager and manage a huge implementation very easily as a software-defined type of a play. And then specifically on the Northvolt case that we talked about regarding some of our switching products and being able to integrate into different types of environments, they really challenged us for how can I get more sensor data out of the industrial automation network? How can I connect more things to it, and then be able to pull all of that data out from underneath that and then move it into my data center for the kind of computation, machine learning, artificial intelligence, AI applications that we're really seeing. So it's an idea of how we've kind of put everything together with use cases, and we tie everything back. We've got our product table, so you can see like Yatendra here is speaking with a customer just about exactly what their use case is. We do a lot of just hands-on education with our guests here in the space.
Awesome, great. Thank you so much, Richard. I'm excited about the coffee machine, actually. We'll visit that tomorrow. But now we're going to go back to Steve in the studio.
Cedric, thank you so much. Please pass our thanks along to Richard. Richard Mullen is one of our greatest Cisco storytellers. And the reason is, not only does he have just an incredible concept of all the technology, end-to-end technology within the portfolio, and the way everything connects together, he has a way of talking people through it in a way that they say, now I understand. Nothing is isolated, nothing is siloed. It is all connected through, it's all meaningful, and if I put these pieces together throughout the Cisco end-to-end, the one Cisco portfolio capability, it's going to do for me exactly what I need to do. Great job. Thank you so much, Richard. One of our most important, one of our most beloved initiatives here at Cisco is empowering an inclusive future for all. That's what we're going to talk about right now. We all have a unique role to play in the way that we leverage our people, our products, our resources to address global crises. Well, Brian Tippins is here with us to share Cisco's journey in the way that we can use our technology expertise and funding and lend it in support of private, nonprofit sector partners who are working to meet the challenges and overwhelming personal needs right now of Ukrainians who have been caught up in this devastating conflict. Brian has gathered a group of industry experts to bring a wealth of important initiatives together, everything from connectivity and technical support provided to the UN and to NGOs, to governments, through Cisco Talos, education, employee pathways. How can we devastate figure out this crisis. Let's hand it over to Brian Tippins right now.
Thank you very much. We're going to have a bit of a lightning round when you see 6 panelists in 30 minutes, which means we're going to cover a lot very quickly. Let me start with a quick introduction. My name is Brian Tippins, and I have the honor of leading social impact at Cisco. Social impact's around how we maximize and leverage the full power of Cisco, our technology, our dollars, our people, their volunteer hours, our influence, our partner ecosystem, to leverage all that to make maximum positive impacts in communities around the globe. And it's long been part of our DNA. We've done this for many, many years. You know that our purpose as a company is to power an inclusive future for all, and we take that very seriously. We talk about being good for the world and good for business, and so we've long invested in communities through our foundation, through employee volunteerism, through our crisis response programs. But our CEO challenged us several years ago, gave us a call to action to say, what could we do, what more impact could we make if we set a big, audacious goal around leveraging our ecosystem to positively impact lives. And so in 2015, we came up with a goal to positively impact 1 billion lives by 2025, and we were able to do that 1 year early and exceed that goal through a lot of the work that our organizations do, including the work that we're going to talk about today, the work that we do to support Ukraine. We've been committed to supporting Ukraine since even before the start of the war. Our support is ongoing and includes helping to defend critical infrastructure against cyber attacks, around establishing Wi-Fi connectivity for refugee communities, around providing Ukrainians with IT education to build their digital skills and employability. We've provided nearly $15 million in cash and product donations in the 2 years. And by the way, I think we're coming up on the 22nd, on the 2-year anniversary of the Russian invasion that has led to the situation that we're in now, which continues to persist. And that $15 million has been in cash and product donations. It's been in financial support. We match donations that our employees make to causes to support Ukraine. We do that through support of IT infrastructure, through our Talos and cybersecurity initiatives. We do that by supporting humanitarian aid throughout Ukraine. And so we want to talk today with some of our experts about exactly what it is we're doing, with the intent of being to help educate you all in the audience about how you can get involved. And a big part of this is also the work of our Cisco Networking Academy you're familiar with. It's about 25 years old and has trained over 20 million students over 190 countries. Initially, it was around, at its inception, the Networking Academy was around teaching people networking skills, teaching them Cisco certifications. It's grown over time to teach things like cybersecurity and IT essentials, and so we bring those resources to bear to help train the workforce of Ukrainians, and our employees have shown tremendous support through their own volunteer hours and donations. So we'll talk through in this panel a few examples of how we've been able to do this. So I'm going to invite my panelists into discussion. We've got Vanya Svitzer. We'll start here with Aaron Connor, who leads Cisco Crisis Response. We've got Philip Wadowski, who is Philip Wadowski, Country Director from Poland Nest.
Yep.
We've got Lucian Heider, who's a NetAcad lead in Poland. We've got Josef Fuliter, who's a Cisco Crisis Response volunteer, and so you'll hear from each of them. So let's start with Vanya Svitzer. Can you tell us about Talos and why Talos has invested in Ukraine?
Yes, so to understand that, we need to go a little bit further back. So about 10 years ago, there were significant attacks on Ukrainian energy infrastructure, where the attackers were trying to bring down the power grid. So this is where Cisco Talos came to help some of the organization in Ukraine. And over time, we developed really good relationship with Ukrainian CERT, with the National Cyber Police, with Special Communications Unit as well. And so we were also present in Ukraine for a very long time. And so this was not the only attack that we tried to protect against. So when the NotPetya attack hit, which was one of the biggest ransomware attacks or destructive attacks ever to happen in the world, we were there. But we also discovered some completely new attacks, and so we basically developed relationship and friendship with many people in Ukraine. So when the kind of crisis started, when we realized that the conflict will become a war, we reached out to the organizations in Ukraine, and there are we felt that we have a responsibility to help. We had a responsibility to protect the critical infrastructure, to keep the people there safe from the cyber attacks, which we expected in a kind of big volume.
You mentioned the electrical grid specifically. Can you talk more about the work that you did to help protect the grid?
Well, so it's kind of almost a personal story, but not for me. One of my colleagues, Joe, who used to work in the electrical grid provider in the US, also developed very good relationship with the Ukrainian electricity transport company, Energo. And so he was presenting at one of the events when the people from Ukraine Energo were a year after the war started. So if you remember last year about this time, the Russians were trying to attack with missiles and to bring the high voltage substations down and bring the power grid down. And so when he was discussing, Joe, with the people from Ukrainian Energy, he's like, what kind of problems do you have? And they were like, they're obvious problems, but a little bit less obvious problem is the GPS signal jamming. It turned out the GPS, it doesn't just transmit the location that we all know on our phones, but transmit very specific and very precise time. And so to keep the power grid balanced, you need to have really real-time measurements which are synchronized, which measure the phase and the magnitude of the voltage. And so if you don't have the GPS signal, you can bring that network, as soon as the network is unbalanced, you can basically have the power outages. So we modified one of the industrial Ethernet switches of Cisco with a slightly different software. So we actually needed to have a very precise time, which wouldn't oscillate. So the precision we needed was less than 100 nanoseconds of precision, which is like super tiny precision, which we were able to achieve with this modified switch. So now even if the GPS signal is jammed, the power grid is still stable.
That's a powerful example of how this crisis led to new innovations that we may be able to use in other crisis situations in the future. Thank you for sharing. So speaking of crisis and crisis response, I'll go to you, Aaron, to talk a bit about the organization, a little bit of background on Cisco crisis response generally, your approach to how you respond in crises, but then specifically to Ukraine, how has our support evolved from a crisis response standpoint?
Sure. So Cisco crisis response focuses on humanitarian and disaster response. And like Brian said, where we leverage our partnerships, our financial resources, our technology, our people, we do that to focus on really empowering organizations that are affected by crises or very vulnerable to meet basic needs. And for us, that means water, shelter, food, as well as connectivity. And so in the context of Ukraine, we provided a range of support. A lot of it began in the immediate days following the invasion in February 2 years ago, and much of it continues today. So we started by launching a matching gift campaign. That's where we identify nonprofit partners that are on the ground, that are providing humanitarian aid, and we identify them, feature them for our employees, and then Cisco matches those donations dollar for dollar. So we did that. That campaign actually continues today because the crisis is far from over. And we've raised over $4.5 million in employee donations that have been matched by Cisco and Cisco Foundation. We also provided cash grants to responding nonprofit organizations. Some were global response partners that we work with around the world, like the UN Refugee Agency, that we're supporting what is now over 9 million people that have fled Ukraine, as well as World Food Program and their emergency telecommunications cluster that's active in Ukraine. And then we also relied on our employee champions in the region who were already volunteering their time, their money, they were engaged to identify organizations that were more local, supporting Ukrainians that were internally displaced as well as Ukrainian refugees. And we awarded $1 million in grants to 7 local nonprofits in the region. Our team also deploys technology. We have a team of network engineers and operations specialists that have emergency backgrounds. And so we deployed to provide connectivity for our partners. And that included NGOs like World Central Kitchen for their food warehouse, local nonprofit organizations that were providing accommodation and basic services, as well as UNHCR in setting up connectivity for the refugee accommodation centers in 6 countries neighboring Ukraine. We continue to manage those networks, many of them today, and we continue to advise and work with our partners. World Food Program is an example where we recently advised on equipment that would go into their mobile command units in Ukraine for 10 vehicles, and then we donated that equipment to them, and that was just a few months ago. I think the last area where we engage is we have a crisis response grant portfolio, and that's where we invest in technology-based solutions that increase access to food, water, shelter, and disaster response. And so over the last 2 years, we've made a number of investments into nonprofit organizations that were developing, testing, or even implementing technology-based solutions to provide digital information services, digital cash assistance, being able to connect people to shelter, medical support in Ukraine and outside, and that's through partnerships and investments in organizations like International Rescue Committee, Norwegian Refugee Council, and AI for Good, which is an organization based in Ukraine.
So while all that's going on, and that's a lot, your team's been able to mobilize and provide connectivity and support while at the same time dealing with other crises around the globe. In that same time frame of 2 years, there's the fires in Maui and earthquakes in Morocco and typhoons in the Philippines. Talk about the balance, you mentioned the word champions, between your team and your extended network, just very quickly, and lead me into intro of Josef.
Yeah, okay. So, yes, year over year, we're responding to more incidents with the increase in frequency and severity of disasters. I think last year we responded to 22 incidents, and so, I mean, probably easily over 40 incidents we've responded to in the last 2 years since the Ukraine war started. And we don't fully deploy to everyone, but it is a range, like I said, of disaster campaigns, cash grants, product donations. Our team also provides consulting support to response agencies, as well as our investment in technology-based initiatives. So it can be a range. It depends on the severity of the need, tech capacity on the ground, and we are supported by a network of Cisco employee volunteers that we call our crisis response community. We are a team of 12, but we rely on our network of over 700 Cisco employees that volunteer their time, their expertise, that are around the world, that really help serve as a force multiplier and help us fulfill our mission.
And one of those 800, one of the best of those 800, is Josef, who's joining us. Talk a little bit about, first, what's your day job, but how you have been able to help crisis response to mobilize with Ukrainians.
So my daily job is I'm a technical solutions architect based in Budapest, in enterprise network area, covering enterprise customers. And it was a really nice experience how I got to the CCR community, because when the war started, the whole Hungarian office, as well with Poland, Cisco Poland, Romania, we helped in the very first day in transporting the refugees from the border side to the center of the country, where they can have a safe transport towards to their families or to other organizations. They can carry them farther, and there was a feeling that there's a support we need to provide further in country, not only at the border side. And that's how I got engaged with the CCR community. That was the situation over there. If we can get connected, and how can Cisco and the CCR support the whole situation with the local NGO engagements. And that's how we got to the Cisco product grant and also the financial grant for the local NGOs. Because the situation was really specific. You can imagine, I believe on the Far East there is always a social situation that have to fight poverty. And there are donations before the war. There were donations at the specific NGO I was work with. They were receiving one track of donations a month. At the days and the beginning of the weeks of a war, it increased 4 trucks in a day. So you can imagine, like, no infrastructure, team, people, system, that can manage properly the food distribution, the donation distribution. So that's where, with the help of the CCR team, with the Cisco Product Grant, we can build up. We can create a system for the warehouse. Now we call it new. When we arrived over there, it was a warehouse with no doors. So when you see Cisco marketing videos with automated forklifts and 1,000 access points all around, cameras, so it was really was something we had to start it from the ground. Today we can say it's a technology that really keeps them away from thieves, from illegal people that are placing signs of Ukraine helps on the trucks. They're coming for taking the donations away, and we can now check automatically by the cameras the license plates. We have barcode readers in the warehouse that can connect over the Wi-Fi. We have cameras inside the warehouse. We have digital cards that every family can carry and can check what is the donation that they already received. So that was a beautiful experience, how we made a technology bridge and help people in the crisis.
So it's a good example of how we're thinking about cybersecurity, but also physical security, deploying Cisco's assets. Typically when we think about crises, particularly refugee crises, it's initially around food, water, shelter, and now food, water, shelter, connectivity. But when you have a crisis like this that goes on for so long, Lucian, you could speak to this, it's a need to satisfy those basic human needs, but also think about skills development and providing employment for displaced communities. Can you talk about the work that Net Academy's done to support Ukrainians?
Of course. Before I will start to tell you about the project, I have to explain you the background for this decision to do something for the refugees. When the war starts at the 24th of February 2022, immediately Polish border started to cross huge number of refugees. I am living in the city located about 80 kilometers from the Ukrainian border. And all these refugees have to pass my city because it was the only way to go to the Western Europe or to Warsaw, to Krakow, to other Polish cities. In the peak time, daily, Polish border was crossed by more than 100,000 refugees. 100,000 refugees daily. Yeah. It was a really huge amount of people. And the main problem was how to take care about them. I mean, it was not possible to leave them because it was the middle of the winter. It was very cold, and everybody have to place to sleep, you know, something to eat, and it was the main goal for the beginning after the war starts. After the few weeks, situation become more stable. Yeah, it was possible because, you know, the situation with huge number of refugees was solved in a very unique way. You know, the Polish people take the refugees to their homes because there was no other solution to help them in so short period of time. Yeah. So after, as I said, a few weeks, you know, the Polish country was more ready to do something with such big number of the refugees. Also, you know, during the, you know, a few months, you know, in Poland there was almost 2 million refugees staying somewhere, different cities, different regions of Poland. Yeah. And when the situation became stable, I mean that everybody was safe. Yeah. I received a phone call from my colleague responsible for the Cisco Networking Academy in Eastern Europe with the proposal to do something for them, to do the training. And I think it was a great idea. Yeah. Why? Because, you know, it was a lot of people, mainly ladies and children, who were not working in Poland. They have a lot of free time and wanted to do something, but not always they were ready to the market, you know, requests. I mean that they are not. They had the job who couldn't find the position in Poland. Yeah, and our proposal was that we may do something for them. Yeah, so we may do the training from the IT, and probably you know that it is huge demand of the IT staff every country in Europe, not only Poland, I think. And the idea was to start with the training for the refugees from three areas. The first one was the cybersecurity, the second was networking, and the third one was programming. And we offer these three areas of training for to the refugees. The situation was, that we started with the pilot because it was completely new for us to do something for the refugees. Of course, we are the university. I work at the university, as I told you, located very close to the Ukrainian border. We had a lot of Ukrainian students before. Our university was studying before about 1,000 students before, but it was completely new situation for us because there was the people who didn't experience in IT before, and it was something we have to check what we may do for them to help them on the best way, because it's completely different from teaching the students, And we started with the pilot. The pilot was in holiday 2022. It was about 2-3 months, And the result from this pilot was, the first information is most of these people do not speak English, So we have to teach them in Ukrainian, The second, information was those people, most of them do not have IT background, they don't have IT experience. So we have to start from the very beginning, And knowing that, we continue to work on the project. That the main, most important task for us was, to translate curricula, Cisco curricula to Ukrainian, to offer those people training in local language. Also, we decided to hire Ukrainian trainers. It was quite interesting because until today, because this project still is in progress, until today, the training is done by refugees for refugees. We hire refugees to do it. So that's really interesting.
Could you close with how many people we've been able to assist to date?
So generally, we said that we have to train at least 10,000 people.
Wonderful.
And now, until today, we already did the training for 9,000 refugees.
Powerful.
So really huge amount of people, and still we are working. So it will be probably more than 10,000, I believe.
That's wonderful. Thank you for that. So you see a cross section between cybersecurity, physical security, critical human needs, training, learning, and development. Let's end with you, Philip, talking about the work of Nest. Introduce Nest, the work you're doing in Ukraine, and your relationship with Cisco and the foundation.
Sure. So Nest is an organization that invests in enterprises that create quality jobs for people at risk of exclusion. And we work in different regions. We work in Central Europe, in Latin America. When the war started, we already had our 25 years of experience of working in the region, trying to find enterprises that can upskill, reskill, provide training opportunities to at-risk youth, to women, to people with disabilities. And like what Lucian described, the situation at the very beginning, it very like soon after the outbreak, we started to think how we can adjust our way of working with missing middle enterprises. And I just want to let you know that these are enterprises that can solve social problems, social issues, being grassrooted, working at the local level. They usually miss funding opportunities and capacity building opportunities because they are too small for banks. Banks don't want to invest in them, and they are too large for micro credits. And this is where we can step in by providing them a tailored program of capacity building, by providing them also funding. All of that was possible in this initiative, Refugee Employment Initiative, thanks to Cisco Foundation, which was our anchor donor. We went to them telling that our idea is to find 15 impact-driven enterprises that have experience in working with excluded communities and can adjust their business models to working with refugees and migrants. And from the very beginning, we knew that what we need to find in the market is very diversified portfolio, because we are receiving waves of refugees with different skill sets, and we want to have response in terms of career paths and career development opportunities to all of them. So we're just giving you a highlight maybe where we are now, is that that we managed to create we invested in 9 enterprises, so we have still some like 6 to scout for, but through these 9 enterprises within the not even 2 years, so a year and a half, that was 380 jobs, quality jobs created for refugees. Also over 1,400 of upskilling training opportunities provided, language trainings, psychological counseling, and in total that impacted 4,200 people, because oftentimes we saw women with young kids, sometimes with older parents that were evacuated here. So these are the numbers, and like our idea from the very beginning was thinking about the long-term solutions. So part of these people will stay, they will need to find a job. Our job market needs talent, so how we can match these dots. That was the beginning.
So you get a good idea of the cross-section of the ways that we've been able to mobilize directly as Cisco, but also in partnership with our partners. We only have time to scratch the surface, but I'm sure all panelists will be around to answer any questions at the end. This was beginning to spark some of the ideation around how we responded in Ukraine, but also models that we use to respond around the globe. I opened up talking about our big goal in 2015 of positively impacting 1 billion lives, and we were super pleased to announce last month that we were able to reach that goal, in fact surpass that goal and positively impact 1.1 billion lives, and 1 year early, and it's through initiatives like the ones that you've heard about today. I want to play just a little quick video about that goal.
At Cisco, we believe if we can imagine it, we can make it possible. In 2015, our newly appointed CEO, Chuck Robbins, challenged us to imagine how we could grow from a company with a great track record in corporate social responsibility to a company that innovates solutions to the world's greatest challenges. So, in 2016, we set an audacious goal for our company: 1 billion lives positively impacted by 2025. This year, through the extraordinary work of our global nonprofit partners, the leadership of the Cisco Foundation and Cisco's Networking Academy, and the passion of our leaders and employees across the company, we exceeded our goal more than 1 year early. We've now positively impacted 1.1 billion people, and that's something to celebrate. But it's also a moment to look ahead. As we consider our next audacious goal, we're thinking about the future of our purpose. We know we're stronger as part of an ecosystem of impact, and that together we can create a world where everyone can thrive. Join us as we continue our journey to power an inclusive future for all.
Now, in typical Cisco fashion, we celebrated reaching that milestone for about 5 minutes, and now we have to think about where do we go from here? What's that next goal that we're going to set? And as we do so, we invite you to come along with us on this journey. We're definitely better together. You hear about the benefits of these partnerships. It's Cisco bringing our resources to bear, but working with our nonprofit partners, working with Net Academy partners around the globe, working with all of you. So we invite you to please scan that QR to learn more about the methodology that we use to reach that 1 billion, but also stories of some of the impact stories that we were able to achieve through our partners. So thank you for taking the time to listen to us today. As I mentioned, our panelists will be here afterwards if you want to ask them any questions. Please join me in thanking our panel.
Wow, what a powerful message we just heard We are leveraging incredible Cisco resources and partnerships to support Ukraine during this incredibly painful and challenging conflict. A lot of years ago, Cisco set out to positively impact 1 billion people by 2025. Fortunately, we hit that goal much earlier than that date, but the work continues. Thanks so much to Brian Tippins for bringing us that very important story. We're going to transition right now to the customer experience. Your customers deserve great experiences at every turn. Check out some of the ways that WebEx is helping to make that happen.
Meet Carlos. He's on his way to watch his daughter graduate, and his flight was just delayed. When he saw the text message from the airline, he fully panicked. What is he supposed to do? So he picks Call Me. WebEx Connect takes Carlos's reply and through WebEx Contact Center routes his details to Sandra, the next available agent. With Journey Data Service supplying AI-powered data, Sandra knows why Carlos needs help. No need to explain the situation. Perfect. Plus, Sandra's not working alone. Combining AI and collaborating with other experts via the WebEx app, Sandra now has the information to quickly secure Carlos a new flight. She identifies a flight that arrives 10 minutes earlier at nearby Oakland Airport. That works for Carlos. Sandra upgrades him as a courtesy, providing him the option of 2 remaining seats in Economy Plus. Carlos prefers a window seat and chooses 8A. In the background, his customer profile is updated with the seat preference. During the moment Sandra is providing Carlos his confirmation number, he receives a text with the new flight details. Expectations exceeded. He checks in and adds the boarding pass to his wallet app. To make the experience even better, Sandra uses WebEx Connect to send Carlos a free drink voucher.
This is amazing. Thanks for turning a stressful situation into a positive one.
After hanging up the call, a survey is triggered through WebEx Experience Management to rate the interaction between 1 and 5. Carlos picks 5 stars, of course. Wouldn't it be great if every customer experience was like this? It can be with WebEx Customer Experience Platform.
Amazing customer experiences are everything for a business because your customer will only remember the last engagement they had with you. That is why we provide Cisco CX, Cisco Customer Experiences. And we're going to go out to Cedric Devalder on the show floor, who is at CX right now. Hello, Cedric.
Hey there, Steve. And you said it so well, our customers deserve the best customer experience. And I'm here in the showcase, or at the showcase even, and we're here at the WebEx calling booth. And it's quite funny, because the video that we just saw was about like an airport, and actually I met Ed, who is a product manager, and he was on the same flight as me as I went into Cisco Live here. So Ed, how's it going today?
It's going fantastic, thanks so much. We're here talking about Customer Experience Essentials. It's a new feature that we're bringing out, enhancing our call queuing experience on WebEx calling. So the struggle often is with call queues, can supervisors see what's happening and do, more importantly, do something about it once they have something? So we have a call queue up right now, and we can see that there's a call waiting. But as a supervisor, I need to be able to do something about it. Within the WebEx app, the supervisor is able to look at his agents and actually bring an agent into the necessary queue. And now we see that the agent is receiving a call, gets the screen pop information and all of that, and now the agent can continue to act the call and receive additional calls going forward. So they're able to, the supervisor is able to see what's happening and take action to enhance the customer experience.
So basically it gives a good overview of what's happening in the call center.
Overview of what's happening and also the ability to take action to improve the customer experience.
Okay, so who is going to use this, right? You mentioned already agents and supervisors.
Any organization that has inbound call queues, so that whether it's customer service, tech support, sales, HR even, you can, any group that needs to receive a bunch of calls and process them out.
Okay, and let's say I'm in a call center, like I'm an IT manager or an IT director, and I want to start using this. Is it available now?
Beta right now, going general availability end of next month.
In the next month, okay, great. What if we want to learn more about this? Whether you're at the conference, you can stop by, but what if, let's say, you're at home?
Go to webex.com and look at Customer Experience Essentials.
Awesome, great. Thank you so much, Ed. Let's see if we're on the same flight home again.
All right.
Anyway, thank you so much. We'll go back to you, Steve.
Thank you so much, Cedric. I appreciate it. And thank you, Ed, as well, for walking us through that demo. Let's keep the WebEx story going by looking at everything around the personal experience, from AI to hybrid work to customer experience. Enjoy the video. I'll see you back on the other side.
You can just text customer service.
All right, everyone, welcome back to the Cisco TV studio. We are so glad to have all of you with us here on the live stream, coming to you from Amsterdam at Cisco Live 2024. I'm Steve Milter, one of your 4 broadcast hosts. As we just heard, as we just saw, powering remarkable customer experiences, that means meeting customers' needs and expectations across every single channel. It means managing our customer experiences throughout their digitization and their delivery journey. It means more listening. It means better data collection, identifying trends, personalizing every single engagement. That is what WebEx Customer Experience Solutions provide. And so right now, we are going to head out to Rob, who is in the WebEx Sponsor Lounge. Rob Boyd, can you hear me?
Absolutely, I can hear you. In fact, this is probably one of my favorite places to be in the WebEx Lounge. Steve, you know I work a lot with WebEx. But one of the things I've always been fascinated about is customer service, because I feel like it's one of the areas, for years, we've had more data, more analysis, and more capabilities to really shape a customer experience on a consistent basis, and there's no better place to see where tools are enabling us to do this more intelligently. Trevor, you were telling me that AI, of course, is throughout the product line, and you wanted to talk a little bit about how it's reshaping the customer contact experience.
Absolutely, thanks Rob. There's so much we can do with AI in contact center. It's so valuable, but what I want to focus in on today is agent burnout. For so long, we've been focused on getting the most out of our agents, making sure they're really productive, but we need to take care of them. So through the power of AI, we're able to ingest everything that's happening in the contact center, voice, chat. We can understand what's being asked, we can understand what's been spoken about. So if I've had a really bad time and 3 or 4 bad calls, we can understand that and we can proactively make a decision to take them out of queue or move them into a break, and then make sure that they're proactive.
I want to make sure I understand what you're saying, because when you say you understand what's being said on both sides, so there's a bit of analysis, or is it sentiment analysis, that kind of thing that's going on?
Very much so.
So we know if they're
analyze
angry and getting heated, or the agent's falling asleep.
Absolutely, and then we can use that for analysis as well. So if we're getting a lot of irate customers, we can pick up on that and highlight that in our analytics as well.
That's so awesome.
So powerful.
Didn't mean to break your pattern, but go ahead.
No, absolutely. So we listen, we detect, and we act. And we have open APIs as well, so we can open up this to our partners as well. So lots of exciting things with AI within Contact Center.
Yeah, so just on a personal basis, it doesn't have to necessarily be here, but where are you seeing AI? What are you most excited about in terms of where AI or anything else is taking us right now?
I think it's everywhere. It's ubiquitous in everything we do as a product set and a portfolio, and I think it's so powerful, and we've seen the power of it in everything we do. I think particularly in Contact Center, giving us that proactivity and understanding, and where is this going to take us? I don't know. It's just, every second it's getting higher and higher in terms of our capability.
Well, that's perfect. You guys have had a lot of great traffic. Trevor, thank you so much for your time. And guys, we'll head back over to you in the studio.
Thank you so much, and our thanks to Trevor as well. We are headed into our first innovation talk of the day. It's called Capturing the Benefits of Customer Experience and AI. Your business is always going to be benchmarked against the most recent experience that your customer had, which means that good enough is never good enough when it comes to that customer and their experience. WebEx is helping your business to meet growing demands using new AI innovations that improve agent effectiveness, that make your entire organization more efficient. So, we're going to head out to Larissa Horton, Manuel Sevilla, and Jono Luke for that story. Enjoy the innovation talk, and I will meet you right back here on the other side. Here we go.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. Excited to talk to you guys about this quickly changing industry and everything that we're learning. So first off, customer experiences are changing. I've mentioned this a couple of times. If I told you 10 years ago that you would get comfortable getting into strangers' cars regularly, you would say I'm crazy. And yet we do this every day with Uber. And the world, in terms of our expectations of what a brand will do to serve us, how they will meet our needs, how will they serve us, is changing very quickly. This is creating a very new challenge and dilemma for IT departments everywhere. On one hand, everyone knows that user experience is really creating a change in brand perception, how people spend, where they're going to spend, where they're going to be loyal. At the same time, IT departments are not necessarily given bigger budgets to go and transform for the future. They need to run the business while transforming. Very frequently, I hear this compared to flying a plane and changing the engine while it's in flight. How do I do that without creating damage or impact to my business? Very difficult challenge. It's one that we've actually been focusing on quite a bit as we've been building out our cloud strategy and as we've looked at the different customers that we are going to bring alongside us into this cloud. So speaking of the WebEx Contact Center and our customer experience, what have we built? Where are we going? How are we thinking about this? We've categorized this in 3 different ways of interacting with a customer. First off, prevent them from calling you or contacting you at all. Our proactive experiences. How do we use data to better understand when you should be reaching out, why you should be reaching out, and really meeting their need before they even come to you? Next is self-service. With the changes in mobile apps and how we're able to do a little bit more in a self-service fashion, we have a lot of brands that are looking at how do we create self-service experiences that are easy to use and that will really fulfill those customer needs so they don't have to call in, wait in a queue, and again, get a better experience. Last but not least, we know there is always going to be a need for a human agent to deal with a wide range of customer requests, whether it be due to the industry, like healthcare or finance, where people are not exactly comfortable sharing that type of information with a virtual agent. But also, as things are not able to be dealt with through a virtual agent, we need to make sure that you can hand it off to a human and address that customer concern to make sure we're closing out that customer challenge. As we look at all of these engagement models, it is happening across a wide range of channels, different types of places where people want to have that conversation, whether that be on social or means of communication like WhatsApp, how we talk to our friends, our family. That's where I want to go and meet the vendors that I want to speak to as well. All of this is wrapped with, obviously, AI. I'm sure a word you've been hearing very often this week. There's no shortage of AI also in the contact center or the customer experience space, and we've built the entire cloud experience on top of a common WebEx platform. This is the same platform that powers our meetings, our calling, our messaging, our conference rooms. We've taken all of the capabilities that we've invested in over the last couple of years, and we've added that into our customer experience. So what have we built? Well, we've really reimagined how people work in this industry. And these are just 2 of the new experiences that we've brought to market. These are available today. Our brand new agent desktop. We've taken a look at what does an agent do when they're interacting with a customer, what pieces of information do they need at their fingertips so they can serve their customers better and faster. Next, we looked at the supervisor experience. What does a supervisor need to do in this new world? When you're managing a set of agents that are not only taking phone calls and people on queues, but they're interacting on things like social media. How do I manage all the different ways that communication is happening with my customers, with my team? So with that, we want to jump into an example. So what you see here is a virtual agent. On the left side is the workflow, and on the right side is what the customer is actually engaging with. In this particular case, the customer would like to book a service. So first you're seeing that we are jumping into a security flow. The security flow is making sure that the customer is who they say they are. So we're validating that we know who you are. We're then able to look you up in our system of record, like a CRM. I'm able to find your information and look at what was the last product that you ordered. Looks like it's the doorbell. Well, we know you want to book a service, so let's figure out what services do people commonly purchase after purchasing that doorbell. Well, it's the installation service. Great. You're able to do your selection of the service, and next up, we go straight into scheduling. When would you like this service booked? With some of our natural language capabilities, you're able to see there, day after tomorrow. We're being able to be contextually relevant to that date, select a date, a time, and last but not least, we're going to go into making a payment for that to simplify that visit once they actually go and do that service. So you're going to see an integrated payment experience here as well, in this case using Apple Pay. When I talk to customers today about what just happened in this experience, very often they have 3 agents. The first agent is triaging that incoming call, trying to figure out what does this customer want, how can I help them, getting their information, verifying them. The second agent is able to do the service sale and maybe the scheduling, because not all agents are trained to use every single back-end system. The last agent is handling credit card information, because again, not every agent has been trained to handle credit card information. We had 0 human agents in this case. And not only was it 0, it was actually a pleasant experience for many customers. When we interviewed our different customer bases, definitely certain generations said, I do not want to talk to a human being. I'd rather do it over text. So you're not able to meet new customers in the experiences that they want. All right, let's jump into our brand new agent desktop experience. Let's take a look. So here we have our brand new agent desktop. What you're seeing here on the right is the different channels that an agent can go and serve. So maybe they handle some phone calls, maybe some chats, some emails, some social. They're able to respond and see all the different communications that they're engaging with across the customer base. Next, in the middle here, I'm able to see live analytics. How am I doing with all of the calls that I'm getting, with all the queues that I'm supporting relative to my team? Really helps an agent understand their performance, where they need to pay attention, and what improvements might need to be made. We have an incoming call coming in right here, new customer coming in, and as I go and accept that call, I'm able to see the entire history of what this customer has gone through. I can see if they started with a virtual agent, if they were handed off from another human agent. I'm able to understand all of the context, so I don't start that call by repeating questions that are going to be very annoying to that customer. So I get all the context. It looks like they're looking for a discount. Turns out I'm not actually allowed to do that, so I'm going to go look at the information a little bit more and then eventually bring this to my supervisor or to my group support team. So first off, I'm going to look at the contact history. Is this a customer that calls every day, every week, every month? How often are they engaging with us as an end user? That's not all of the information, though. I want to make sure I understand how much do they buy from us. Eventually, we just want to make sure you're improving customer lifetime value. The integration we have with back-end systems allows you to see the actual orders, when they were processed, if they were delivered, what is the state of this customer. Looks like they've bought some products already. Now they're a repeat customer and they want a discount. I'm going to go and get some support. We have integrated our UCaaS solution, so the ability to engage a supervisor or a support team directly into the agent desktop. You don't need to use another tool. So right from here, I can go in and look at the discounts approval space, make a request, send the information with that customer. That team can now go into the back-end system and also take a look at what does this customer look like. They provide their approval, and just like that, I'm able to give it directly to the customer. What would this have looked like in a different experience? Well, first off, I'd probably put that customer on hold, and then I would swivel chair to a different set of tools that I have to get trained on so that I can contact back office, whether it's for approvals, whether it's for looking up their orders, so many different tools. The average contact center agent is engaging with roughly 40 tools for all of the different things they need to do. And right here, you've seen that streamlined so they can deliver that customer experience very quickly to the customer. So next up, we're going to talk a little bit more about AI. I'm going to have John Ola come and join us, who's leading our overall contact center experience. Jono?
Thank you, Larissa. Good morning, Amsterdam. As Larissa said, we are supercharging our contact center product with AI to help you deliver on your customer experience goals. Let's start with why Cisco. Most of the industry today is working on what you see on the left-hand side, large language models. Text, emails, transcripts, understanding documents. But that's just the beginning. We at Cisco have heritage, many years, decades of understanding real-time media, voice, and video. And that's why we're building what we call our RMM, real-time media models, a way to understand more than just the words. I am an expressive person, ask the folks that work with me. I move my hands a lot, I talk up, I talk down. If suddenly I'm just talking plain level, something could be wrong. There is richness of signal in that audio and video that will give that human agent or the machine, the virtual agent, a better understanding of how to handle Jono's needs when he calls in. That's an example of why Cisco. We've also spent a lot of time building what we call our AI codec. Thanks to the engineering work that's being done right now, we are able to use about 1/16 in some cases, the bandwidth of the next best codec, meaning that your customers, no matter where they are, will be able to get their message through to the virtual agent, to the human agent. They can be heard. And why does that matter? Well, first of all, it's a better customer experience. You can hear me, you can hear what I need, even if my bandwidth is not great. But there's downstream effects as well. Clearer audio means better transcription, better summarization. When you have better transcription, better summarization, you can then feed these AI models and do better there, better learning, drive better action towards the customer's outcome. So what starts as a better customer experience fuels the machine to deliver better customer experience. That's an example of why you need the RMM, the real-time media and understanding, as part of your system. Now, I just gave an example of audio, clear audio. We all have had good and bad experiences. I'm not going to comment on the story I'm about to tell you. You can decide for yourself. Rental cars, this happens to me a lot. I changed my flight or my flight was delayed, whatever that is. I need to make sure the reservation's still there the next day. I am one of those people, I don't like calling in. I will spend 5 minutes on my mobile app to find the web chat. I'll start chatting. I'll say, I need to let you know that my reservation will change because I'm coming tomorrow. I'm coming a day later. Please hold the car for me. 90% of the time, I end up having to call in. They'll say, could you please call in to this number? We can handle this real time. That's problem number one. When I call in, I have to wait. I am put in a queue for the next available agent. That's problem number two. And then when that agent picks up, hello, could I get your phone number, please? Wait, but I'm calling you from my phone. And then it's, how can I help you? You told me to call in, faux pas number three. These are the makings of a poor customer experience. The way we see it, you should never have to wait as a customer. You should never have to repeat yourself. And when you're talking with that brand or business, they should know you. That's your personal concierge. That is a good customer experience. You saw with Larissa earlier the underpinnings of this system, what we call our real-time journey data service. It captures all of the interactions that happen and those transcriptions so I can better understand. That is the foundational element of a great personalized experience. That also powers a new generation of really great agent experiences. We support the human agent with features like conversation summaries. When I have to, if I have to, hand off to another human agent, don't make that next agent read 7 minutes of transcript. Give them what they need, that understanding, and they can pick up and continue. You lessen that frustration because of that handoff. Second, as I'm going through that interaction, provide me the answers that best serve the customer. As we bring in that understanding of Jono's sentiment, we can even shape that answer to not just be the fact, but match it to his tone. If he's upset, be more apologetic. right? Those are things that will make a better customer experience. Finally, once that interaction is done, automatically generate the wrap-up. We know this. For every 5-minute interaction, the agent is probably spending about a minute in wrap-up. That's not great efficiency. The more we can do to help that wrap-up happen faster, the better off the business is, and we can move on to that next customer. By the way, agent burnout and churn is a real problem. Generating wrap-up also means that you have a higher quality bar of that wrap-up, which then again fuels the machine of understanding, so next time around, you're able to do better for that customer. Goodness all around. This next one is something we're really excited about. It's coming out later this year. It's coaching highlights. So I talked about summarization and understanding. Our system can take a recording, an interaction, and break it into chapters based off of a topic. Then we overlay our understanding of that sentiment, which we can do best because we understand voice, video, and such, and provide the supervisor a very focused understanding of not just is this agent good or bad, it's too coarse-grained, but what topics, what part of these interactions are going well or not, so that you can pinpoint some training, or perhaps this is not the right agent for this topic, right? It's a new way to think about this, all done in real time. What I'd actually like to do next is invite Manuel Sevilla, who is the Chief Technology and Innovation Officer with Capgemini, to talk about your journey with Contact Center and Cisco.
Good morning, John.
Thank you, Manuel.
Good morning,
Please,
everyone.
Have a seat. Okay, so Manuel, we've talked about customer experience, contact center, and AI. I'd love to maybe have you share with the audience first a bit about Capgemini and what you and your team do to support your customers.
So as you may know, Capgemini is a huge company, very well known for consultancy and IT. I've been 20 years in Capgemini in many roles, but 6 years ago I've joined an entity named Business Services. We deliver operational services for our customers. So we deliver finance and accounting, HR, customer interactions, and supply chain services to our customers. So it's daily operations. And of course, to do that, we need to work in a way that we're absolutely transparent with the customers, so that we are part of the customer team. So we use Cisco typically to have only one way to connect everyone, independently if they're Capgemini or from the customer's team. Okay, so it's a complete transparent and smooth way to deliver services. So internally, when they call, or even when the customers or suppliers call us, they don't even know that we're outside. They just call the company of our number, of the number for our company, and they route it to us in a very transparent and smooth way.
Great, and something you've taken on recently is migrating from an on-premises infrastructure into cloud for your contact center and calling. Could you talk about that?
It's an interesting topic because we are 25,000 people delivering that every day, okay? And the market of outsourcing has really changed years ago from now. Years ago, it was a cost play, how to be the cheapest one, and they were outsourcing to reduce the cost. Now they outsource to transform. The companies have understood that the opportunity to give that kind of operations to a company like us is the way for us to finally transform the way it's done. Which means we have to be not only cheap in delivering the service, but also innovative all the time. Being innovative means something very simple. We have to work with our partners where R&D is spent. So that's why we decided 5 years ago to do a massive move to cloud operation. So that move to cloud went in 3 big steps. First one, adding more and more native SaaS partners in our business areas. Second one, it was all the telephony topic, and I will deep dive on that, of course. And third one, it's a complete infra move, so that will decommission all of our infrastructure on-premise to be fully on the cloud. Last year, we have ended the move to cloud of Cisco from our telephony to the contact center enterprise, so CC, on the cloud. We did it really for one key reason. CC was able to allow us to keep all of the features that we had before on the cloud without any impact on production. So we're not at all impacting the features. It's important to understand because we are working for more than 100 of customers, each of them with their own contracts. And if we are changing the feature, the way we deliver the functionalities, it could lead to infinite contract discussion with them. So we had to find a way to move without altering it. And we took the risk to go to CC, despite the fact we are the first global program of CC, because we deliver our customers everywhere in the world. We follow the sun. So we have customers in Asia, in Europe, in US, and we had to move it everywhere. So the move to cloud has not been easy at all. Not only because of that, but also because we came with very hard features. We have extended disaster recovery, high availability across the globe. Okay? So it's interesting because we work with you in fine-tuning the product to support customers like us with our level of expectation. That's extremely important. And honestly, it was a risky move, okay? Because we were sure that that move was not going to be as smooth as it has been. First of all, we took a partner. We work with Savin, who is very specialized in the migration. It's important because our teams are not only capable to do the migration, but they were focused on business continuity. Very important. So we needed to have an expertise to do it. And we did it with about 12 waves in a year and a half to make it happen. These waves were not at all easy for two reasons. Technical reasons. We had to really change the way it was working, but also a topic that is more and more important today. Compliance, data regulation, data allocation, contractual aspect with the customers, etc. So we did a complete transformation program with our customers. Every of our customers signed a document giving us the ability to use Cisco, but also Amazon, Azure, and Google as a place to store data, as a place to process data, all the rules on data privacy, where data will be located, etc. And I have to give you a big feedback on this one. With all of the customers, it has been signed easily. Of course, some customers are always the one who are asking a lot of details. You know that. Not all of the customers are the same. But we have been able to make it everywhere. So I don't know if it was just the COVID phase that happened or whatever, but the teams, especially our sales, who were scared about that move to cloud, today are very happy about it because our customers are even asking us, why you're not on the cloud to our competitors. Okay, so we're already doing it. And now we're moving to the next step. Because after we ended that wave, it was December last year, so you said it's very, very recent, okay? After we did it, now we go to the next step, which is innovation. Now we're on the cloud, and you see a lot of things in this event, and you will keep seeing it. It's about using the marketplace on top of Cisco CCE, using the innovations of Cisco, using all the GenAI wave to now bring more value to our customers. Because I insist, our business moved from a cost business up to an outcome-based business. So how do we generate more value to our customers? And GenAI and all of this picture will be the key for that. So we're just at the beginning of a transformation wave. But we're a very happy customer and partner of Cisco, of course.
Absolutely.
As you can see, big adventure.
Absolutely. And I think just to reiterate, right, it is the velocity of the innovation that will now come. That's the benefit, right? The fact that we as a platform have all these capabilities, we have a great partner ecosystem that bring pieces in, and then working with you on that transition as you move forward.
Absolutely. And velocity is very important because imagine that we had not done the move to cloud so early. We would have at the same time to do the move to cloud to access all these technologies and the innovation at the same time. We would be dead.
Absolutely.
Now we can just focus on innovation and make it happen. So that's really the big trend that's happening.
Great. Well, Manuel, thank you so much for sharing with the audience. Hopefully you got something out of that, and thank you for being a great customer and a partner for Cisco.
Thanks a lot, John. Yes. It's been a pleasure.
Thank
all
you,
the time. Thank
Absolutely.
you. Take care.
All right, so Manuel described our journey together, right? Capgemini and Cisco. But that's not the only customer out there. In fact, we serve 3.6 million agents across our premises and cloud products across 36,000 organizations, lots of organizations. This is how we've learned. This is how we understand why and what matters to you as a business in delivering your customer experience. These three words come up over and over and over again when we talk to businesses. The flexibility, as Manuel just described. Where are you on your journey? Right, journey to the cloud, journey in your customer experience, all these pieces. We will meet you where you are so you can meet your customers where they are. Some businesses are still heavily voice. Others are adopting digital. That's okay. The platform we have, the products we have allow you to bring these capabilities incrementally online. Like we just said, it's a journey together. So meeting you where you are, that's the flexibility. Reliability, we recognize and understand that contact centers are the lifeblood of business. And so having that uptime is key. And then finally, continuity, allowing your business to continue forward as we're bringing these new innovations to you. You adopt at your pace. These are critical characteristics. We get it. We understand. And that's how we're here to support you on your journey. That journey is also global. Most folks sitting right now probably can name at least 5 countries that your business interacts with customers in. We can help you on this. We can support your agents across 87 countries thanks to our 7 data centers, the 7th coming online this year, meaning that no matter where your customers are, you're ready for them. And that flexibility, again, it starts with how. How do you want or need to deploy? We are the only vendor in industry that continues to support some of the most sensitive and critical workloads due to compliance and security with our on-premises product. If that's where you need to be, that's okay. We will support you and bring that innovation to you. But we also have our cloud architectures, WebEx Contact Center Enterprise, WebEx Contact Center, an architecture to meet every need. Then we can talk about adopting those capabilities, bringing that AI online to better support your customer, your agents, and your supervisors. That's our approach. Again, it's incremental, it builds on these, but it starts with flexibility for you and how you need to run your contact center. Now, changing tracks a little bit, I want to close on this. We believe that great customer experience is every single employee's responsibility. Not just the agents that pick up the phone, not just the supervisors that watch your agents, and not just the developers that might be building these integrations in those apps. Every employee. And that's why we've introduced what we call our WebEx Customer Experience Essentials. Let me walk you through this slide. We'll start on the left-hand side. WebEx Customer Experience Basic is included with our WebEx Suite. If you've got calling, you've got those capabilities, a basic call center. We've always had on the right-hand side our standard and premium for true contact center agents and supervisors. But we recognize there's an emerging group of employees who need to participate in that customer engagement, but they're not a full-on agent or supervisor. And the simple voice multi-line may not be enough. They need customer context. They might need to engage across digital and voice. That's where Essentials fits in. This is for your back office employees or customer-facing teams that aren't necessarily in the contact center, but still contribute to that customer journey. That's why we brought Essentials in, to give you that flexibility so any employee can be customer obsessed. And because of that, we can meet you anywhere where you are on your journey towards this North Star of customer experience. And we're going to make that better with AI. Because AI is going to help your human agents do things faster and better. It's going to help your supervisors understand and run that contact center better. And it's going to power the next generation of virtual agents. And again, with Cisco, we have a heritage in real-time media and voice and video. These are going to continue to be key for the high-value, super stressful situations. And that's why we are the right partner for you as you move forward in your customer experience journey. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this and learned some new things.
And welcome back to the Cisco TV studio, coming to you from Amsterdam and Cisco Live 2024. We're delighted to have you all with us here on the broadcast. My name is Steve Moulter. I hope that you all really enjoyed that innovation talk. Fantastic session from Larissa, Manuel, Jono. How do we capture the benefits of customer experience and AI? I feel like we just heard such a great list of useful and practical and applicable innovations that this team has been working on for all of us to help us to improve that customer experience, so vital. One of the things I think is such a big focus, an important focus, is that reimagined agent and supervisor desktop capability. Check that out when you get the opportunity. In just a moment, we are going to head out to the Innovation Talk Theater, where Rob Boyd is currently trying to corral Larissa and Jono as we speak. We are going to head out to Rob as soon as I get that cue, and I see him over here in my monitor. I really connected with Jono on those 3 problems that WebEx Contact Center is solving for us and for our customers. Number 1, never make them wait. Number 2, never repeat yourself. Number 3, offer that personal concierge. So powerful, so important for the customer experience. Some brands get that so right. You know what I'm talking about. Other brands, they struggle. with delivering that level of experience into every single engagement. The question is, which one are you? Do you get it right? Do you still struggle with it? This could be a fantastic benefit for every single one of you. All across the show, in the world of solutions, in the showcase, all the way here in the hub, we are hearing about these incredible examples of great customer experiences. We hear them from our partners. We hear them from our own Cisco salespeople and executives. And right now, we're going to head on back into the iTalk Theater where Rob Boyd is going to hear it from the people of the hour. How you doing, Rob?
I am doing fantastic, Steve. Thank you so much. Yes, just fresh off the stage, got Larissa and Jono here. And the talk was interesting. The room was packed, but I don't know if this is fair to isolate, but for each one of you, I'll start with you, Larissa. What is the one thing about AI that you're most excited about, whether you've talked about it here or you maybe have it in the back of your mind for going forward?
I think the thing that's most exciting is how investments we've actually been making over the last couple of years are just compounding now to deliver a really great customer experience. So we're building on so much existing knowledge while leveraging all of the latest and greatest in innovation.
And well, let me stick with you for just a second, because what I'm curious about too is we feel like WebEx is in a unique position in that, one, we've been security first forever, and now AI enters into that, presents new challenges. But also there's this real-time media model. There's a lot of different things that both present new challenges, but also potentially new opportunities. I'm just kind of curious, what are you most proud of in terms of how WebEx is handling the opportunity here?
I think we've looked at it in a very unique way. Everyone has been obsessed with ChatGPT and large language models, and while we're also engaging on all of those technologies, the real-time media model, I think, is our key differentiator. Taking our long history in DNA and audio, video, and learning all of the things that are unspoken. So it's not just about text and words that you see, but everything you say with your hands, with your face, with the tone of your voice, incorporating that and understanding how a customer feels, as well as just how we communicate with each other as a team and build culture, I think is going to be a huge differentiator for us.
Perfect. I'm going to step between you two, actually, just to make this easier. Jonah, no, you don't get to go anywhere.
Oh, okay.
I want to ask you as well, what kind of thing stands out at you for AI, whether you mention it here or whether you look forward to it coming up?
I think one of the things that's really interesting about AI is it actually sets a new North Star that people go, oh, we can do that. So it's opening up a whole different imagination. When we talk about our RMM, real-time media, that's just the first step on a journey. And as people use this, we're going to see, oh, that could be used there as well. And AI's technology, you can always build new tech and better tech, and that's what we're investing in. Like Larissa said, the compounding of this on top of each other.
I feel like sometimes it's a double-edged sword. I'll have you come back in here, we'll keep it all together, but I feel like it's a double-edged sword with AI, with the focus on large language models, and then so many people who get introduced to that and think, oh, that's AI. And those of us who've been working with AI, especially you guys for such a long period of time, you have to almost overcome some of the initial inertia. I think there's a word in there. But when it comes to customers, and how are they responding to what we're doing, and how do you feel about in lockstep as we listen to them and attempt to execute?
I think a lot of people are being asked by their board, what are you going to do about AI? So it's almost a forced conversation. It's a buzzword in every single conversation. And yet, I don't think people know how they're going to leverage AI yet. And so while there is excitement, while there is openness, there isn't translation into reality yet. And so that's where we've been having a lot of our conversations is, what do you do every day? What are the outcomes you're trying to drive? And how does AI help you do that better or faster? Not necessarily talking about replacing people. Because I think the assumption and the scared factor is this going to take my job, right? Like that's where they go. And so walking them through, how do you introduce that in the ways you work today? And then how does that continuously get better? And how do you measure? How do you know that it's actually helping? And so those conversations are happening on a regular basis. And I think more and more people are becoming more comfortable, especially with the security aspect, right? Am I sending private information all over the place in the cloud? And am I putting my company at risk? How do I leverage AI while not putting myself at risk?
Well, and I love the fact that Cisco, I feel like WebEx specifically is always built from the ground up. It slows us down, I feel like, internally. I probably shouldn't say it out loud. Sometimes when it comes to rolling out new features, because there is a process, there's a legacy infrastructure, and then there's an expectation from customers about how we're going to handle their data. You have any additional commentary on how AI is being received by customers and how our response is to it?
Well, I think, and Larissa sort of touched on it too, if you just talk about AI as a tool and technology, it's scary. How does it make our business better? That's our job as the partner to these businesses. How will it improve your human agent experience or the customer experience? And then also we have heritage and security just as we do in media and AI. And I think that helps the conversation as well. What are your outcomes? How is this going to get better? AI is a way to accelerate a lot of those things.
Yeah. And I'm curious, because this comes up every now and then, there's a little bit of a switch here, but when we talk about customers who, for whatever reason, maybe it's part of their policy at work, they're not going to be connected, can't always take advantage of our cloud-based services, where does that leave them in terms of WebEx Suite and some of the other things that we offer? Can they still take advantage of everything we're offering?
So I think depending on the deployment type, like certain defense deployments, there are definitely going to be a longer time period before those can be made available. But one of the strategic changes we made in our architecture, specifically in the contact center, is to allow for a lot of the modern capabilities, whether it be AI delivered by us or even a partner, to be made available even in an on-prem environment. So I think that is one way that we're really leaning into our existing customer base, not leaving them behind, while being very forward-looking with all of the innovations in the industry. So you can take what you have and wrap it with modern capabilities without having to move everything to the cloud all at once.
Oh, that's perfect. I'll just going to final question for both of you. I'm going to hit you with it first, but you can hear it so you know what's coming up. But it's, what do you think is overlooked or misunderstood? Do you find yourself in one or two things always having to kind of correct and go, no, we don't do it that, or that's part of this, or anything like that that you wish people understood a little bit more directly?
Actually, it's don't forget your human agents. I think in a lot of conversations, people think of human agents as cost. They're not. Train them, upskill them, help them learn to use this AI as a tool. You're going to see better customer experience and better business outcomes. Don't overlook your human agents.
I like that a lot. Don't forget they are human, and they should be considered assets, not expense items. I think is what you're saying there too. So can you one-up Jono on that one?
So the thing I'd like to add to that is the things that we're learning with AI is not just how to run a more efficient business, but actually how do we take care of our agents, our people better? And agent burnout is a great example of that. We see 40% churn of agents in the industry. And now we're looking at how do we keep the best talent? How do we prevent burnout? How do we take care of human beings? So not only is it important to have human agents, but it's important to take care of the employees that you have that are serving these customers.
Yeah. Oh, that's perfect. Larissa, thank you so much. Jono, thank you as well. Nice job on stage here. So guys, be sure and check out everything else. We've got a lot more focus and we're getting into more details. Thankfully, they're not running agent burnout analysis on this stream that I'm aware of, or I would have heard about it already. I have a feeling I'm not burned out. I'm having fun. That's all it is, Steve. We'll go back to you.
Fantastic job, Rob, as always. Thank you so much, my friend. Thanks again to Larissa and to Jono as well. Boy, Jono nailed it right there. Do not forget your human agents. Remember, Cisco, yeah, we build a lot of technologies, but Cisco is a human-first company. We are about people. Without the people, none of the rest of this matters. Every great interaction results in transformation. No transformation, no value. That's simply the fundamental reality of things. And by the same token, every customer journey should end with a solution. This is what we just heard about. WebEx customer experience is making sure that you and your organization are the ones who are delivering that solution in every single engagement. Check out some of the ways that that works.
Meet Carlos. He's on his way to watch his daughter graduate, and his flight was just delayed. When he saw the text message from the airline, he fully panicked. What is he supposed to do? So he picks, call me. WebEx Connect takes Carlos's reply and through WebEx Contact Center routes his details to Sandra, the next available agent. With Journey Data Service supplying AI-powered data, Sandra knows why Carlos needs help. No need to explain the situation. Perfect. Plus, Sandra's not working alone. Combining AI and collaborating with other experts via the WebEx app, Sandra now has the information to quickly secure Carlos a new flight. She identifies a flight that arrives 10 minutes earlier at nearby Oakland Airport. That works for Carlos. Sandra upgrades him as a courtesy, providing him the option of 2 remaining seats in Economy Plus. Carlos prefers a window seat and chooses 8A. In the background, his customer profile is updated with the seat preference. During the moment Sandra is providing Carlos his confirmation number, he receives a text with the new flight details. Expectations exceeded. He checks in and adds the boarding pass to his wallet app. To make the experience even better, Sandra uses WebEx Connect to send Carlos a free drink voucher.
This is amazing. Thanks for turning a stressful situation into a positive one.
After hanging up the call, a survey is triggered through WebEx Experience Management to rate the interaction between 1 and 5. Carlos picks 5 stars, of course. Wouldn't it be great if every customer experience was like this? It can be with WebEx Customer Experience Platform.
It really has never been more important to create that fantastic customer experience. We're going to keep talking about that all day long here at the show. Right now, though, we're going to take a very quick station break. We're going to dive into security starting about 10 seconds from now. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. So right now, we are going to shift our focus a little bit toward security and toward the different ways that Cisco is connecting and securing and assuring every single digital experience everywhere. Here in today's digital first world, business productivity really depends on ensuring that hybrid workers can always securely access any application, whether it's web or SaaS or enterprise or private applications, and they need to be able to do it from anywhere. So delivering excellent digital experiences, what it really means is no compromise when it comes to always-on performance, when it comes to services that are critical to employee productivity and customer satisfaction. And all the time, we have to ensure zero trust security policies across every single point of connection. So, we're going to head over to Nish, who is on the other side of the studio here with me, with Emma Carpenter, Cisco's Security Chief Revenue Officer, to dig a little deeper. Good morning, Nish.
Good morning, Steve. How are you doing?
I'm great, my friend. How about you?
Yes, I'm good, thank you. Even better now, I'm joined by Emma in the studio. Emma, how are you doing?
I am fantastic, thank you. I hope you are too.
I am doing great. It's day 2 of our broadcast. Very excited to be bringing everyone at home all the action and fun here at Cisco Live. Now, we're going to talk about security maybe for another 7-8 minutes or so, and I know there's so much innovation, so much momentum. I know you're not planning to slow down with security. What's the customer response been like? I'm imagining it's been taken very well, like all the announcements and launches we've made this week.
Yeah, honestly, like the amount of innovation that we're driving from a Cisco security perspective is like out of this world at this point, right? Like I don't think we've seen the level of innovation in many, many years that we've driven over the last 12 months. And by the way, we will continue driving as we move forward as well. I think about some of the things coming as well. We talked yesterday with G2 and Tom about every month in the next 6 months having a new announcement about what we're delivering from an innovative perspective.
So follow Cisco Security, right?
It absolutely does. It's changing every day.
Yes, amazing. So Emma, you've been with Cisco now, I think it's 18 months. I think you're celebrating that this week. Congratulations,
yes,
very exciting.
I made it.
Yeah, you made it, and I'm sure you're going to continue to make a great impact. This is your second Cisco Live EMEA.
Yeah.
So what was your experience like last year, and how's this year different? What have you been up to?
That's a great question, actually, because like this was actually one of my first major events with partners and customers over here in EMEA, and it's like coming home for me, obviously, from the accent perspective as well, because I live in the US now.
Back in the region.
Absolutely, and I love it. Like I love the energy that's here. Last year, I would say it felt like there was a few less people actually than there's definitely when you walk around the place this year, there's a lot more people. There's a lot more energy.
Yes.
And honestly, like it made you feel like there was a huge buzz in the room, and like I think what every country in Europe brings to the table here is huge, and a huge opportunity for us in this landscape from a security point of view as well. It's one of the most important topics, not just for Cisco, but for our customers and our partners, and will continue to be as we move forward.
For sure, and I mean, for us as hosts, it's like kids at Disneyland at this point. It's like we walk around, wow, 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 that's amazing. You get to see our technology, see all the demos. Yeah. So for any tech enthusiasts out there, definitely a place that you want to come and check out Cisco.
Oh yes, there's a lot of tech enthusiasts out there as well, which is lovely. And a lot of people that are very supportive of Cisco as well, like long-term customers, long-term partners who really believe in the vision, the strategy, the direction that we're driving, and our ability to execute against that, which is foundational for us. It's all about our customers and partners.
Exactly. So here this week, we've been talking a bit about identity. I think we might have teased it a little bit to the audience, but I want to deep dive with you now on identity-based attacks. And I know they're more pervasive than ever. It's creating this new kind of battleground for security. So what does this mean for the industry? And what does it mean for Cisco, obviously being one of the security leaders here in the industry?
Honestly, I asked the question yesterday with our press to say, can any of you that have received an email, received a WhatsApp message, received an IM or a text or any other form of chat or anything else in the last 6 months, where it's been someone trying to fish in to kind of get you to click on a link or do something that will spawn an activity on your device, can you put your hand up? Everyone in the room put their hand up, not surprisingly. But the thing is, attackers have got more intelligent now in terms of how they're coming to each of us, and really the threat vector is from us as users, because the more they can impersonate us personally, the better. So it's your Netflix account needs updating, it's your Amazon account, it's your bank. Like, they know details about us because they've done their research to try and make it more personal. It's no longer a badly worded email that we get in our
That's
inbox.
irrelevant and obvious, right? It used to be really obvious. I feel, I don't know if I thought I was outsmarting them, but I was like, this is really obvious, so I'm not going to fall for this. Now I get things and I have to think, actually, how do they know that I have an account with that company? Or...
Did I change the password?
Exactly.
On it? Or like, and then that leads me to, I actually need to change my passwords again and really think about that differently. So like the identity landscape is more important than ever before. And we know over 80% of the bad actors are getting in through a user, right? Often through that email or text. And so it's been really important for us to think about that inception point into the device, the user, etc., and how we can come to market in a different way. We acquired a company called Aut not so long back, and they are an incredible technology that we have now integrated into our tech so that we can go out, ideally through a partner, because our partners are fundamental to Cisco's success, and really go to a customer and say, let me do an assessment on your identity landscape within your environment. By doing that assessment, I can check and balance what's going on with all the vectors that come into that account. And what it does, it gives that end customer a view of where their potential threat areas are. I mean, because think about it, not only are the bad actors getting better at impersonating these different kind of companies, but they're also finding ways in to take the identity, and it's kind of fascinating. They'll go for like the designer or someone that's got access to a lot more of the technology and a way in that allows you to transverse across the networks and get to somewhere that you absolutely don't want them to be. So that lateral movement becomes important. The second one that they really try and insert into is the CXO level. They know they've got access to everything within a company. So it doesn't matter whether you're in a sporting professional, it doesn't matter whether you're a large-scale retailer, or a manufacturer, a bank, regardless, they're targeting the CXO level to try and get in the door. I mean, how many of us have seen these attacks where they're pretending that the CEO of a company is trying to connect with us, and then they want us to go and get vouchers from the local store. I mean, like, okay, we can start to see that, but like, unfortunately, there's different people out there that don't always see these threats coming. So identity is foundational. Being able to provide that service where we can go in and make that assessment is critical. Using AI to do that as well, so that we can get quicker with our response times, again, foundational to the opportunity going forward. We believe identity is absolutely one of the most important areas that we need to focus on. We're obviously still in the network, and we still absolutely believe that's important as well, but yes, it's a foundational area for us.
Wonderful, and there's lots of opportunities to see identity in the demos we have here in the World Solutions, and we'll be bringing that to you later this week. So I just want to ask you one quick final question. We've only got about a minute, Emma, so I know, really quickly.
Where did that go?
Yes, I know, really fast, right? You are obviously an amazing leader, female security CRO. Tell us from your perspective, how do you feel we're doing with diversity in security?
It's a question I get asked often, honestly, and it's a passion area for me. So, like, this, as is security, by the way, very, very important. Like, we still have a lot more work to do. I don't say that as a female sat here. I say that we have work to do in all the aspects of diversity that we should be bringing to the table, whether that be veterans, people from different backgrounds, walks of life. It doesn't matter. Everyone should be included in what we do. I genuinely believe it starts in the schools. We have to educate at the ground level and bring that through so that we get new talent seeded into our organizations, apprenticeships, opportunities for people to come in the door in an early stage, coming out of college and giving them, our CSAP program is second to none,
that's
basically.
the program that I actually came
right?
through, so I'm really glad
look how much talent we have here.
Yes.
So that's
Thank you.
Fantastic. So it's really foundational. It's important for the future. But as I say, it's got to be inclusive for all. And it's very important as we move forward.
Thank you, Emma. We're out of time. I'm
Wow.
really sad because I know we could keep going for hours and hours here. Hopefully we can bring you back next time as well, and I'll make sure I see you around this week anyway. Lucky to be here with you. Well, we're now going to head back to Steve. Steve, how are you doing over there?
Nish, thank you, my friend. Fantastic interview as always. You're right, Emma. The time just flies by when we have these great conversations, but thank you for joining us here in the studio. Great story on security. We are going to take a brief little fun diversion directly back over behind me where Cedric is hanging out in the Cisco store, one of his favorite areas. Cedric, what kind of trouble are you getting into over there?
It's definitely one of my favorite areas, Steve. As much as we're learning at Cisco Live, there is also time for shopping, right? And we have some really great products here, and as you can see, my good friend Kaylee and I, we have even matching jackets, right? So it's actually also, besides the store, it is also trying to showcase the technologies from Cisco and partners to basically enable stores around the world. It's basically what I would call the store of the future. But Kaylee, we're gonna come and visit you later today. But what's one thing we already can give as a sneak peek?
Oh, well, we've got so many things here at the store. All of the merchandise that we have at the store powers an inclusive future, so you are helping Cisco contribute to their mission. And on top of that, we have a ton of technology, new solutions, things that you can engage with. We've got tons of new product from our Meraki team. We may even have some sneak peek products that haven't been released to market yet. So we want to make sure that you guys come by.
Awesome, great, and we will be back later, Kaylee. Thank you so much. We're gonna come back to you, Steve. I'll bring something.
Please do. Thank you, Cedric. And thanks to Kaylee Visconti and Brian Domine. They do such an amazing, amazing job with the Cisco store every time out. Always such a popular spot here at Cisco Live 2024 and everywhere else. Before we depart security, I want to share something really cool with all of you that you may not know about that Cisco offers. I think it really highlights our dedication to creating secure infrastructures and trusted networks all over the world. We've got something here called the Security and Trust University program. So this is for interns and for new grads who would like to have a career in cybersecurity. So what we're doing is investing in people, processes, technology, policies, things that will train people on how to build a secure enterprise. And then around that, we have this great community of the greatest minds in the industry that are working so hard, but also playing hard and giving back while they help to expand knowledge and grow security careers. It is so cool. If you don't know about it, check out the Security and Trust University program. We are so proud of that here at Cisco. Thanks so much for joining us here on the live stream. We're going to take a quick break right now. I will meet you right back here in exactly 12 seconds. Here we go. And welcome back to the live studio coming at you from Amsterdam. I am so glad to have all of you with us. Remember, keep reaching out to us on social media using hashtag Cisco Live EMEA. My name is Steve Moulter, and it's a delight to be with you. Let's talk sustainability now for a while. It's one of the core tenets, a huge aspect of who we are and what we do here at Cisco and at every Cisco Live that we attend. And we always love to talk sustainability because it's so important in the way we do business. We are charting the path for a sustainable AI future that is energy efficient. We are advancing circular economies. We are advancing efficient, smart buildings. There are so many ways that Cisco is leading the sustainability charge all around the globe. And right now, Rob Boyd is out in the sustainability zone to share a little bit of that with us. Rob, can you hear us?
Yeah, look at me. Hey, sorry. Just heard you coming over here, Steve, and there's so much happening here in the sustainability zone. In fact, I'm going to try and cram in about 4 different interviews. But first, I want to get the lay of the land with Angelo. Angelo, you're Director of Sustainable Solutions. Explain what we mean by sustainable solutions and what it is we're working on here.
Well, we are surrounded by sustainable solutions. So this is the second year we have the Cisco Sustainability Zone here at Cisco Live. So what we are showing here is a very simple concept. It's the concept of IT footprint, handprint, and heartprint. It's actually how we can reduce the impact of IT in terms of energy consumption. How can we leverage IT to drive more savings in terms of energy, in terms of resources, in terms of food, like we're showing there in the IoT for sustainability. And last but not least, how we can leverage the IT for driving goods, the Cisco crisis management. So I want to drive one message home here. We have multiple solutions here that are not only addressing the climate change challenge, they're addressing a business challenge, how to better use resources, how to optimize the use of energy, how to optimize or reduce the waste. So that is about sustainability, and you can see all of this here at the Sustainability Zone. Come and visit.
Perfect, you heard it there. Come and visit. We're going to visit with a few more of your peers here. Thank you very much. There's so much going on in here, so many booths, quite a few people here, but one of the things, of course, that we want to talk about in regards to this subject, Tripta, we've worked with Tripta for many years in many different capacities. You're working on energy management. What's the right way to think of this?
I would say energy management is critical and table stakes right now for all the customers, and a couple of reasons, right? A lot of governments, legislations are making carbon disclosure reporting mandatory, whether it's the CSRD in the European Union or the SB 253 law in California. All large companies have to be reporting on their carbon emissions going forward. Second, I think it's a big business imperative. Cisco is a networking company. We've always been at the forefront of optimizing on innovations, whether that's on software or hardware. If we can enable energy efficiency for customers and generate power savings for them, it's a win-win for everybody. So it's a business imperative. It's going to impact both top line and bottom line growth. With the macro environment we saw recently, energy inflation, rising costs. Everybody wants a way to insulate against rising costs. And I think the fourth thing is Cisco has a net zero goal. We want to get to net zero by 2040, right? And we want to actually reduce our scope 3 category 11 emissions by 30% by 2030. That's the electricity consumed through the use of our products sold. And the more impact we make on that, it's actually going to elevate that to the next level by enabling our customers to also reduce their greenhouse gas emissions with energy efficiency.
That's excellent. Tripta, thank you so much. Guys, the thing is when it comes to energy management, when it comes to being sustainable, there's all levels, of course, that this could operate at, but we have to start now because we're dealing with limited resources now, not later, and it's going to come competitive. I think I've got Christopher here. How you doing? I was like, good. Well, where are you? I knew I had one more to go. So I want to talk to you more specifically about data center. We talked about modernization. Sure. What is it meant by data center modernization in the context of sustainability?
Sure. Well, as I'm sure you've heard from Tripta and some of my other colleagues, the first thing you have to actually know is where you're starting from before you can think about modernizing. So the first thing you have to do is actually start collecting data on how much power you're using, how efficiently you're using your data center. So I'm going to take that as a starting point. Once you figure out where you are, you can then start coming up with plans on where you're going. First thing you start thinking about is finding the easy things to solve, the really inefficient kit, be it very power hungry, places where you're just not really utilizing the kit. Start replacing some of that. That's the easy, low-hanging fruit. Once you start doing that, then we start looking at things where you can start leveraging more modern technology, be it going to higher bandwidth links, which allow you to collapse not only the power, reduce the power and get more bandwidth for the same amount of power, more compute for the same amount of power, but also reduce space, which allows you to reduce the size of your data center, reduce the amount of space you're cooling, reduce the amount of steel and raw materials you're using. That's sort of your next step. And then we start getting into some of the more esoteric things where people are now starting to focus. Things like liquid cooling. Is it time to start bringing in liquid cooling where liquid is a much more efficient way to cool your data center, and you can start going from spending, maybe reducing, instead of saving a couple of percent of power, maybe saving 20, 30, 40% of the power in your data center by switching your cooling fluid from air to liquid. Switching from AC to DC power in your data center, which might save you, again, tens of percent of power by removing all the AC-DC conversions and DC to AC conversions. So those are longer term things, but as you start talking about rebuilding your data center as your power requirements go up with AI and other things, maybe it's time to start thinking about bringing in some of these more modern technologies.
Well, it's funny because I think, usually we think of liquid cooling being so esoteric, but with the level of compression, with the level of size and consolidation we're doing now, there's no room for air to remove heat. It just doesn't work anymore. We're seeing vendors build that in. I apologize if I cut you off, Christopher, but thank you. I got one more stop I want to make, talk about real estate. Let's see if we can catch on. Andrew's got a booth over here. There's literally something to do at every spot within here so that you can ask questions. Let's sneak in here. How are you doing, sir?
Doing well, how about you?
Very good. So Andrew, correct?
Yes.
So you're focused on real estate. What's important to understand about real estate in the context of sustainability?
Oh, there are a few things that's happening right now, right? Some of our partners are actually looking at changing social norms after the pandemic, right? So a lot of things that how people actually interact with the buildings have changed, right? Going to the workplace is no longer mandatory, it's no longer a perk, it's actually a norm, right? So that means a lot of commercial buildings are going unoccupied, and for those buildings that are occupied, you have very volatile tendency because some people everybody choose to go to work on Wednesday maybe, but nobody on Monday and Friday, right? So the management of the resources, how you distribute that, and without actually compromising the user experience, is becoming more challenging, right? The second piece is actually sustainability. Sustainability has become such a focus. You have government agencies coming up with incentives, regulations, requirements about reporting, about carbon reduction all over the place.
I'm going to have to cut you off. I apologize because we've got to go to the iTalk. So I'll go back to the studio now, guys, so we stay on time. Thank you. Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you.
Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for being with us here this morning, here in the lovely, blustery, windy Amsterdam. You may or may not know, but part of the UN development goals, there's a color orange on here, also the national color here. Orange is for innovation, industry, and infrastructure. Perfect topic for today. The last couple of years here, we've been talking and setting a foundation for education and awareness of how to measure and what sustainability means for our industry. In the last couple of years, we've seen the number of countries jump for regulatory pressure and setting net zero goals. We know it's a business imperative, and the surveys and the data is coming at us, telling us more and more that CIOs and CTOs are playing a really important role here. And then, of course, there's this little thing called AI. And we're going to be very excited to dive in a little bit today of what a data center ready for AI looks like. Across Cisco's strategy for sustainability, last year we came out with an updated plan for Possible. And this helps with the transition to clean energy, circular transformation, and circularity is a topic that comes up more and more with customer conversations and partner conversations everywhere around the world, as well as building resilient ecosystems. And when you consider all of this, so much of this starts with the roadmap. It starts with the products and the solutions and the offers themselves. So across engineering, I'm very, very excited to tell you that we have very structured programs and projects across 4 key areas. The first being, what are you baselining? How are you measuring your energy? We know with the carbon footprints, it starts with, in this industry, the primary offender is in greenhouse gas emissions, which is the energy we're using in this space. So scope 3, category 11, for those who are familiar with scope accounting, where are you measuring? How are you getting that measurement? How credible is it? And how is that helping you track to your plan for net zero? Then you have software, and software has immediate impact. The great thing about software is we're finding things across our roadmap that we can do to turn off ports, to have things that are ready, not necessarily always on. And these are things that we're continually rolling out across our portfolio. We don't have to wait for a next product launch to do that. Energy management and software are going to continue to work hand in hand to optimize the energy consumption in all of our environments. Well, then let's go to hardware. Hardware, from everything what goes into the materiality and the embodied carbon of our products, that goes and helps our circularity conversation, but also the power and cooling inside of all of the environments. And the efficiency and new innovation, right? Bring it back to the color orange for the United Nations Development Goals. Innovation is what's going to help us leapfrog and not just do the incremental changes that we need. And that leads us to the business transformation. When we think about the circularity, how many of you are actually returning product back to Cisco today? Good. I know that process can be better. We want more and more of that product back because Cisco can 100%, 99.98 to be exact, 99.98% recycle, remanufacture, and reuse the product we get back. And if you don't believe us, we have a teardown booth just outside of this hall in the sustainability zone, and you can see active live teardowns of what that looks like. This year, we are excited to bring progress across the portfolio. We have identified 5 energy management metrics that we are standardizing across our portfolio. They will be available across Catalyst, Nexus, Meraki, Control Hub, right? For those who are tuning in to all of the other sessions across Cisco Live, our product portfolio and the platforms that we have today will all be standardized across these 5 energy metrics you see down below. What's more is this web capability will help pave the way to one of the many features that will be available in Cisco Networking Cloud in the future. So we need to make sure this is all tied together with the broader portfolio of networking and security as we plan for how we're going to network this power in the future. So between your energy consumption and the decisions you're making at where you are placing your data centers, where you're retrofitting those data centers, where you're building new offices, retrofitting offices, you can now bring energy management into the mix. Across Cisco's very vast portfolio, we are continuing to focus on smart buildings in the campus, internet for the future, and how the internet itself can be more and more thought conscious around carbon awareness, energy efficiency, carbon footprint, as well, of course, of our data centers. And I would be remiss to say there is a lot happening across all of these, and it starts with where you're measuring your energy management. If we look in the smart building space, we have a really interesting confluence of events that's happening around the world. We have an all-time global historical high of vacancies in office buildings. Thank you, post-pandemic. We have a changing workforce that's trying to figure out how much they're going into the office versus working from home. What's that fit-for-purpose environment? Real estate, we're seeing all-time numbers around the world of what they're going to do with some of these vacant offices and offices that are coming up for lease. Cisco's end-to-end portfolio, from Meraki to our sensors to Cisco Spaces, is helping to work inside of the over 30 different building management systems that companies are working, operators are working with, owners are trying to navigate, and technology is that common backbone. Across Internet for the Future, you've heard about our Silicon One chip for years and years. And the exciting thing, again, if you step outside and you want to take a look into our sustainability zone, you can see the changes with routed optical networking and RON, and the overall energy efficiency going to our 400 gig optics, 94% energy savings. Not to mention the size savings. And seeing is believing. You can see the size of the old transponders, the size of the new optics, more powerful, less energy. It's a good story all around. But I'd be remiss if I didn't say the huge opportunity we're all facing in the data center. And I'm really excited today to be able to bring my friends Jeremy Foster and Yusuf Khan. Jeremy is our SVP and GM of Cisco Compute, and Yusuf is here from Cisco Data Center Networking to dive right into data center.
Thank you, Denise. Well, Yusuf, we are always excited to be here once a year.
Of course.
Not just for the weather, but for the great people. But then we're also always excited to talk about the data center.
You are absolutely right. That's what we do.
And the thing about the data center is there's a tremendous amount of electricity that we use in a data center. In fact, it's 1% of the world's power is used in data centers, and obviously that number is going to go up over the next few years. But it doesn't sound like much, 1%, right? But that's enough power, 300 terawatts, to fuel the entire country of Italy. And when you look inside the data center, you go, where is all that power going? Well, 43% of it is spent on servers, so to speak. And then those servers produce heat. So guess what? You have to cool them down. So that's where the rest of that heat energy goes, and now we spend even more on servers. So making sustainable decisions as we build products is incredibly important, and it's our responsibility to help drive these numbers down and drive the costs out for our customers.
You know, you're absolutely right, Jeremy, and that's why it is critical for Cisco to take a holistic approach when it comes to data center design. And that includes our ability to optimize for price, performance, cost, scalability for both, not only just compute, but for data center networking infrastructure. We have 3 design goals in front of us. Right? Number 1 is to help you increase your efficiency, and we do this by designing and building products that are reusable and that can consume less energy and produce less waste. Number 2, we want to make sure that we give you visibility, real-time visibility, And last but not least, not only real-time visibility on your power consumption, but also give you historical trends on how you have been consuming power, what is the emission effect of that power on your environment, and then what is the cost of the energy that you are consuming within your data center. Because we believe that visibility is extremely important, and without that visibility, there is no sustainability.
Yeah. Right? You have to understand how to measure and see what we can see. Absolutely. Is really, really important.
Yes.
And just by a show of hands, I mean, how many folks in the room have gotten larger IT budgets to now meet all the sustainability requirements? For those not in the room, guess what? Not a whole lot of hands went up. So we know we have to be able to help customers balance out how much time are they spending on innovating new power-hungry technologies like AI versus also meeting these sustainability goals, because we have to help do both.
You're absolutely right, Jeremy. And that's why we fully believe that we cannot get on the road to innovation without the sustainability, and that is the first stop on our road to innovation. And we do this by building flexibility and scalability into our portfolio, right? We do this by building a portfolio that is easier to manage, less in complexity, produce less energy, less waste, consume less energy also. And that is absolutely critical for us, because scalability and flexibility in turn gives us cost optimization, right? And it also helps us in making sure that we are following the regulatory compliance also.
And we've got to have the right building blocks too, right?
Yes. And in the networking area, right? I mean, Denise mentioned about the AI workloads and the AI use cases, which are consuming tons of data. The east-west traffic is exploding, so the demand for bandwidth is also growing, and that's why we have designed the new set of product line and introduced last year, which is a 9800 family. And what you see over here are the two members of the family. This is 9804, which is a 4-slot chassis, and 9808, which is an 8-slot chassis, and it gives immense amount of power reductions to you, because 9800 is about 61% more power efficient as compared to the previous generation, which is Nexus 7000. But at the same time, it gives you great flexibility. It gives you 155 terabits of bandwidth in a Nexus 9808. And it also runs on a very powerful, scalable, and a modular platform, which is the Nexus OS, and managed by Nexus Data Dashboard, which is also very, very analytics and very modern in terms of its design and approach, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And on the computing front, we work together to bring network fabrics together with compute to drive out a lot of that energy that you would spend in just like, say, a big rack mount deployment. But we're really, really happy and really proud of our UCSX platform, which is not only the fastest growing server platform we've ever built, but it's also the most sustainable servers you can put in your data center. And you don't have to take our word for it. Those little logos across the bottom, whether it's the SEAL Award for Sustainability or Silver Linings, on top of that, the CRN awards for things like usability, and to your point, having the right tools for customers to use to make it easy to operate on a day-to-day basis, that's really what brings UCSX to life. So if you haven't had a chance to check it out, head over to the World of Solutions, and we can definitely walk you through it. Now, the most important thing is, how does this all come together across compute and networking? And that is really in your data center. And this is an example of a customer's data center where they had 500 servers, and these servers were M4s, so think 3 server generations ago. Very common scenario, right? Most people are going to run their servers for 6 years or so. When you modernize onto Intel's new Xeon platforms, you're talking about a reduction from 500 servers down to 150 servers, taking 70% of the physical footprint out of the data center. So that's huge savings in space, power, cooling. I mean, 49% of the power in the data center out from a computing perspective, and then 61% on the networking front on top of that. But in addition to being extremely sustainable, what's great about this is it's also really good for the bottom line. Because if you look at the numbers on the right-hand side, you're dramatically reducing the amount of dollars you're spending on hardware by modernizing your data center infrastructure, and then all that software and all that support dollars that you spend to support these huge environments, when you shrink them down, you don't have to spend that money on that either. So it's a great story.
You're absolutely right. I mean, because this is one of the main drivers for the enterprise customers to upgrade their to a modern infrastructure within a data center, because not only you have a more power efficient and energy efficient systems in your environment, you're also getting a lot of power of density and silicon design and the benefits of the new structure that we have put in place, because all these benefits you are bringing into your system, and then you are able to leverage it, right? And that gives you power savings that then you can turn in around to bring in more compute power into and more processing power, because as we talked about it, I mean, some of these new workloads require tons of more processing power into the unit. So you save at one place, you spend wisely at the other place, right?
Right. And speaking of new trends, I mean, AI is not only new and big and changing the way that we do business, but it's also extremely impactful when it comes to sustainability.
Yes.
Because these are very power-hungry systems that will dramatically change not only the way your data center lays out, but how you're going to build a data center end-to-end. But there's also a lot of other things to think about that I think are challenges for customers, right? How do we move into these new trends without creating a bunch of operational silos for ourselves? What's the easiest way to get these types of applications deployed and make the business impact for you the fastest? And AI is such a big topic, we won't have time to go deeply into it today, but if you head over to the World of Solutions, we can actually walk you through and show you us supporting the latest and greatest GPUs from NVIDIA and Intel, and then walk you through how you would manage that and the pieces that we've put together from Intersight, from dashboard perspective, to make that easy to deploy and maintain.
No, you're absolutely right. I think while AI workloads, I mean, are driving a lot of activity and excitement. I mean, if you look at it, it is all about data and data management, right? And that's why we see that enterprises who are going to be adopting the first of those use cases are data-intensive organizations, such as healthcare, such as video production environments, such as government research organizations, public sector agencies, financial industry, and these are sitting on a very, very rich data environment, and these are the companies which are going after this, right? And while the technology may seem new, and while the use case may seem new, for us at Cisco, we have a lot of experience in building compute as well as data center fabric infrastructure for high performance workloads. And we have done it for HPC environment, we have done it for DCI environment, for video processing, video distribution networks, for IP storage, voice, I mean, you name it, we have been doing it. So we understand what it takes to build these infrastructure for these high-performance computing environments, and we apply the same principles to AI. And again, as Jeremy said, I mean, if you stop by our booth, we have a complete demo and we show you how to do it. Right?
Yeah. And speaking of that, right, it's not just about compute and network, it's about pulling together this entire ecosystem so we can bring our tools to snap into the tool chains that you're already using today, work with the providers that you're already using today. So tell us a little bit more about that.
No, I mean, we have done a lot of not only the development on our side, but also driven partnership with some of the industry-leading power component suppliers within the data center, such as Bandwidth, as well as Verity. And what we have done is that we give you complete visibility into the power consumption of your device, fabric, and as a complete site also. And not only just for the Nexus switches that are in the environment of your data center, but also anything that is plugged into a PDU within a rack, we have the visibility not only to the real-time power consumption, but also about the historical trends. We tell you how much power you are consuming, how much cost it is incurring, that power consumption, as well as what is the carbon footprint looks like. And we give you visible information and also historical trends so that you can make intelligent decisions about where you want to place your workloads.
Right, and I think what's really great about how we go to market with these partners is how we bring together those Cisco validated designs or CVD documents, right? It's all about making it easy for customers to be able to deploy this entire ecosystem into one of these use cases you see in the blue. So whether you're looking to modernize your applications that are running in your data center, modernize your data center itself, we can help you with any of these types of use cases, working with these other folks within the industry to make it easier and to make sure you're deploying these environments in the best practices possible.
Yeah.
And speaking of customers, I think we have a really great one that I can't wait for you to hear their story. Denise.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Jeremy and Yusuf. I am thrilled to welcome to the stage CTO and co-founder of Cluster Power, Vladimir Ester. Please help me in welcoming. Have a seat. You guys are in for a treat because, again, remember industry, innovation, and infrastructure. This story brings all of this together. Oops, here we go. Brings all of this together. Can you tell us, Vladimir, a little bit about Cluster Power?
Well, Cluster Power, it's a company that currently owns and operates one of the largest data center infrastructures across Europe. We are talking about the first campus built specifically for data centers in Romania with a scalability of 200 megawatts. So we're talking about hosting 2 megawatts of IT load in a tier-3 certified environment, which can bring an uptime availability of roughly 99.982%.
It's amazing. And why did you choose Romania? Talk us a little bit about the location of the importance for cluster power?
I think it would be a good starting point to explain a bit the status quo of the data center industry. So looking back to 2019, before the pandemic, Europe was already going through an energy crisis. So the traditional markets for data centers across Europe, which are collectively known as the FLAP-D markets, the Frankfurt, London, Amsterdam, Paris, and Dublin, were already facing challenges with accessing the high voltage grid network. So basically having power availability to sustain the continuous growth and demand of IT workloads. So because of that, accessing this power was becoming a challenge. Also from a regulatory and ESG perspective, it has become more and more difficult to build. In Romania, we have a great energy mix. We have hydropower, we have nuclear power, and great renewable sources as wind farms and photovoltaic plants. So access to this kind of energy was much easier. Also from a business and perspective, Romania was sometimes called the European Silicon Valley because of the emerging and very vibrant IT innovation that was happening on one hand, and on the other hand, a great human resources available within the country. But those resources and those companies did not have access to hyperscale infrastructure. Yeah. So that was a big business opportunity for us.
It's incredible that you had the foresight back in 2019 to put a location of a data center that's close to renewable energy resources. Here in the Netherlands, renewable energy is over 90% of the country's electricity today, right? And as we transition to clean energy, we're going to need more and more. Can you tell us a little bit about the sustainability benefits you've seen to date?
Yeah, of course. So we had a very special approach on that, and cluster power actually comes from joining two industries together. Cluster comes from the IT side, of course, but power comes from our energy background. So what we've done right from the beginning is that we have deployed a 3-generation plant. I will explain it in a bit what that means within the data center campus. Basically, we have a microgrid environment from a utilities perspective, allowing us to be completely independent from the grid. We are producing our own energy that is powering up the data center, while doing so with a very innovative technology that mixes natural gas and hydrogen to produce the energy. With this solution, that allowed us not only to be independent, but also to be extremely, extremely efficient and sustainable at the same time. Because we are using heat recovery systems from the power generation plant, as well as from the data center itself. And we are turning this thermal energy into cooling. We're cooling water that is eventually going to cool down the data center itself. So because of that, we are now sitting at a PUE of roughly 1.1. This is the power usage effectiveness indicator that tells how much a data center consumes on top of the IT workload. And if we are comparing to the industry average, which currently sits at roughly 1.6, yep, the PUE, we're basically more economical with basically half of kilowatt for every kilowatt of IT load.
It's incredible. And when I think about these industries coming together, so many of our customers are asking the question, where do we invest in retrofitting our data centers or even building new ones that are going to be AI ready for the future? Can you tell us a little bit about the Cisco technologies you've implemented?
Yeah, of course. So I think that it was quite important that this was a green project. So we were able to design it right from the beginning based on our strategies and our business objectives that meant that we needed to build scalable, efficient, flexible, modular solution, as well as secure, in order to provide our customers with public cloud services, as well as private cloud and private GPU cloud services. So in order to do that, we needed the right technologies and the right partners that would allow us to meet our objectives. So we have deployed the cloud computing platform is based on UCSX platform that is managed and orchestrated with Intersight. And we also have an end-to-end Cisco networking solution that has at its core, obviously, Cisco ACI built for the data center. So multiple features related to how we operate the environment, its modularity, its ability to scale seamlessly across multiple types of use cases made it a perfect fit within our story.
It's incredible. We can't get too far into any of these conversations without asking, you certainly did not have the foresight in 2019 to see the explosive growth of AI. How are you seeing AI impact your data center operations today?
So I wouldn't say that we saw this in 2019, but we already had partnered up with NVIDIA in 2021, and currently we are a cloud service provider that provides with artificial intelligence infrastructure as a service based on NVIDIA technologies. But obviously, during the pandemic and the big Gen AI boom meant that we had to change the way that we're looking at power densities per rack, the way that we're looking at the ways that we're cooling the devices. So one thing that immediately happened was that we had to put more and more power in the rack.
Can you tell us a little bit about some of the innovative cooling technologies you're using inside of the racks?
Yeah, of course. So I think that currently we are deploying two types of environments. One that are backdoor cooled. So we are trying to bring the cooling solution closer and closer to the actual workloads. So one is with backdoor chillers that are obviously chilled through the solution that I've mentioned earlier with the chilled water. So we're, again, very efficient. And we're now moving to direct chip cooling that allows us to scale currently at roughly 70 kilowatts per rack. Again, if we're looking from a PV perspective and taking into consideration that we're pulling out the ventilators, basically, we can even say that we can reach a negative PV. It mathematically is not necessarily correct, but
well, we also know that PUE is not entirely the most accurate measurement, right? It doesn't account for all of the inefficiency that's happening inside the boxes. So as you talk about deploying these architectures for liquid cooling and direct to chip, now we're starting to get after even more efficiencies. It's incredible, this entire story, and I think about how do we replicate this model? We talk about DC microgrids as though they're a thing of the future. In fact, you've done it for a data center, so really commendable to you. How do you see us replicating this model across other locations, particularly in Europe?
So we have definitely built a blueprint, and I think that for the customers that are trying to build their own data centers or are looking at this from a colocation perspective, they need to understand that in order to become more sustainable and more efficient, you need to use more of what you have already. So what this means is that you need to look at it from a different perspective by integrating not only the IT infrastructure with the application, but also with the data center fit-out solutions like the colocation, the DCIMs and the building management systems, as well as the energy aspect. So our use case allowed us to basically have a holistic view over the entire process, from energy production up to workload optimization in the data center. So being able to look into Intersight and to the application orchestration to see how it runs, to do forecasting based on future demand, it allows us to optimize the entire cycle and thus becoming more and more efficient. So obviously we would be more than glad to discuss with anyone and to share more details about our case and help in any way that we can.
Vladimir, I cannot thank you enough for being here to share that story and some of these best practices. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I hope you found that example as invigorating and inspiring as I do, because it's real. And I think when I come to this region, as certainly annually for Cisco Live, but whenever I come back to this region, EMEA is on the forefront of the conversation with sustainability and a bit more mature than the rest of the world, right? The leadership that is happening here to take some of the ideas of integrated, holistic thinking, whether it's for circular design, whether it's to help grow the top line or take care of the bottom line. We're seeing that happen at more and more CXO levels and board levels across the world. So when I think about Cisco's offerings and our solutions for end-to-end sustainability, we are in fact looking at every part of that, not just in the solution product base of the roadmap, whether again it's the energy management, the hardware and the software, but how will you return that back? Our Cisco Refresh program has been around for over 20 years. We launched our partner specialization program back in April of 2022. And we now have over 1,000 partners registered for this program. We're starting new programs that welcome OT vendors and partners into the ecosystem. And we're seeing the numbers of OT partners coming at us with partners we would have never dreamed of putting into an integrated ecosystem. GreenPay gives upfront discount for ensuring that we're getting product back so that product can have a useful life after, and we can start minimizing how much goes to recycle versus reuse. And the global funding that's available, and I hope everyone here is listening because global funding available, it's in the next just couple of years because of the administration changes that are happening around the globe. We've measured $11 trillion across 15 countries to be deployed. Again, in industry, innovation, infrastructure, digitization of buildings, data centers, just in the next couple of years. Cisco has global funding offices around the world to help you on that journey. It's a lot of paperwork. We have offices and people in country to help you with that. And CX services across the board have things to help you get started. If you just need a baseline, where do we start? Along with so many of our other partner ecosystems that you're likely already working with. And so when I think about wherever you are starting on this journey today, it always brings me great joy to come back to this region because most people have already started on this journey. Likely your company already has goals and commitments to net zero. The question is how real and how credible and how accurate are your execution plans to get there? And whether we have things on our roadmap that are helping you today or the things that we're innovating for the future, you can certainly know that you have a partner in Cisco, not just as a technology vendor, but as a partner on your journey to sustainability. I can't thank you enough again for being here today, and I wish you a great rest of your Cisco Live here or virtually. Take care.
Hi everyone, welcome back into the Cisco TV studio. Thanks so much to Denise, to Vladimir, to Jeremy, to Yusuf. Really fantastic insights here into Cisco's global commitment to sustainability and to energy responsibility all around the world. This is a really powerful story. It's one of the many reasons that we are so proud to be a part of Cisco and this Cisco ecosystem. My name is Steve Moulter. I want to thank all of you for joining us here on the live stream from Amsterdam. We're just delighted to have you with us, coming to you from the RAI and Cisco Live 2024. Keep reaching out to us on social media, please, using hashtag Cisco Live EMEA and at Cisco Live EMEA. We want to hear from all of you. Our team will stay right here with you all day long through every innovation talk, every executive interview, every behind-the-scenes exclusive insight, and every single inspiring demo that we can bring your way. We have combined corporate social responsibility with inclusion and diversity efforts. Everything required to benefit people in communities all across the entire planet. Here at Cisco, we are really trying to build that power of the inclusive future for all. And I want to head out into the world of solutions where Cedric DeValder is checking out our Cisco sustainability leadership. Are we going to do that? Yeah, we're still in sustainability, aren't we?
Yes, Steve.
We are. Sorry, Cedric. Yeah. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't leading you astray.
Yes. We still are, Steve. And I'm again joined by Andrew. I think Rob was here just a couple of moments ago where we talked about changing the social norms. We talked about sustainability, but Andrew, I would like to hear a little bit more about the technology part in itself. So why don't you give us a little bit of an update there?
Absolutely. So one of the things that people look into, once they have the, let's say, need or demand to actually revamp their building infrastructure to build a smart building, right? They look at technology, and the technology has been around for intelligent buildings ever, I think, since the 1980s. That's when the term is coined. But the difference is technology today has never been more capable and actually more cost efficient, right? Take lighting, for example. We are actually replacing your old AC infrastructure in the ceiling. That's basically done with this, just with simple PoE, right? Power over Ethernet cabling. And the end result is a more capable lighting system, more sustainable power lighting system, while also at pretty much similar or plus or minus 5% cost for the deployment. So with that system, you get granular visibility and control, while at the same time, it's much more sustainable and just the same cost actually associated with it. So that's actually what's actually driving a lot of the changes in smart buildings.
So thanks, Andrew, for that. So that's what we can do today already. But what's on the roadmap for, like, what's to come, right? Do you have some more input there?
Yes. So what's to come, there are a few things right there. So what we're demoing here is actually one of the directions. So we see this in lighting as well, that the capability or the power consumption of the endpoints are coming down, and while the capability is going up, which means there's going to be more and more use cases, infrastructure such as PoE, right?
Are we back in? Okay, we had a little bit of a glitch there in the matrix. That happens from time to time. It's the beauty of live theater. We are going to continue to go back out to the world of solutions as soon as we reestablish that RF frequency and that contact. We've got so much to bring you, so many stories from across the world of solutions, from here in the hub. Remember to keep reaching out to us on social media so that we hear your responses and your reactions to everything that's taking place. Every demo, every interview, and we've got a couple of fantastic interviews coming up here just a moment from now. If you haven't yet had an opportunity to look at all of the different certifications and learning that's going on here at Cisco Live, please take an opportunity to do that. If you've missed any of the content that we have broadcast so far, whether that was yesterday or today, remember, all of that content is going to be waiting for you. You can bring it all up at ciscolive.com. Cedric, I think we've reestablished communication. Let's head back out to you.
I mean, Steve, it's still a live TV show, right? So stuff happens, but Andrew is still here with me, so we're just going to pick back in where we came from. So Andrew, just get going.
Sure. Okay. One of another bigger trends in terms of smart buildings, we're looking at grid interactability. And also, that means the building is going to generate its own energy, as we've seen with a lot of fuel cells and also solar panels on top of the building already. And the building will actually be able to regulate its own energy consumption. And sometimes it will be able to feed it back into the electrical grid, right? And having a DC microgrid, right, where the distribution within the building is all direct current, is going to greatly increase the efficiency and capability of that building. And PoE, or Power over Ethernet, is going to be a viable architectural or viable technology for part of the building.
Awesome, great, thank you so much. So we have 3 buckets: changing society norms, sustainability, and technology. And with those 3, we're going to go back to the studio.
We'll talk later. Hey there, welcome back into the TV studio. Thank you so much, Cedric. I'm glad we finally got back out to Andrew. Poor Andrew, he's had that story broken up like 3 times. It just makes it that much more powerful when we take a little extra time to go through the demo. We do appreciate it. So again, keep bringing us those stories from out there. We need to be have your eyes and ears out there in the WAS. But right now, as we're back here in the studio, I've got Denise Lee over on set with me, VP of Cisco's Engineering Sustainability Office, and the lady of the hour, host of the Powerful Innovation Talk that we just wrapped up a moment ago. Thank you for running over here to be with us.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be here, Steve.
You did a fantastic job. I thought it was a really powerful talk. I want to jump right into really the need for sustainability, right? It's gotten so much attention. It is a vital aspect of who we are here at Cisco and what we do in the organization. But what I want to know is, why? Let's get to the why we've made sustainability such a priority and how we've managed to do it to meet the demands of the world today.
Yeah, you know, it's such a good story because here at Cisco, we have a foundation of just a culture that's transcended generations, to be honest, of wanting to do good and wanting to be responsible, not just let's go help everyone, but being responsible and having an obligation in the solutions we put out there, the products we put out there that are actually going to do good. And we've put together this plan for possible that helps take into account how we're going to transition to clean energy, right? Andrew was just talking about DC microgrids. In the last talk, we're not just looking at DC microgrids for a small little, office or home. We've seen customers do a DC microgrid for an entire data center. Right? And then there's this little thing called AI that's come along, and we look at Moore's Law, and the needs for compute, the needs for technology continue to explode. IoT is continuing to converge in our smart building space and in our industrial space. And so why? It's because Cisco connects it all. Right? At the core of all of these things is the network. And if we're not responsible in how we prepare a network that's future ready, then we're not doing our job. And that's who Cisco is at our core.
I know it's that old trope, right, that with great power comes great responsibility, but in this case it really is true. As you say, the sheer scope of the organization, not only globally, but historically, I think it's imperative that we do this. You're out there talking to customers every single day. What are they saying to you? What are their top concerns, or maybe their top challenges when it comes to sustainability within their own organizations?
What's fun, Steve, is this space has moved so quickly. 2 years ago, it was education and awareness. Now it's what do we do? How do we measure, help us get started, or help us go faster? There have been a lot of goals and commitments made at the company level, at the government level, across organizations in the world. Measurement is key. Like anything in the network, you need visibility, you need insights and analytics, and eventually you want to get to a place where you can optimize and do automation. So we are helping our customers along all parts of those journeys. To make it a bit more tangible, they're looking at their real estate, they're looking at future of work and the health of their employees and productivity, and they're asking, how do we prepare our campuses for the future of work? They're looking at data centers and their workloads, and they're figuring out, how do we get ready for a future ready with AI and all the capacity that we're going to need, all the extra compute we're going to need. And then they're looking at, hey, how do we just help and we make sure that we're transitioning to do the responsible thing for our infrastructure and for our business. And we're starting to see numbers that show not just bottom line, the health of business operations, but actually a differentiator in driving profitability and top line growth.
I love, love, love the work that you're doing. I feel like it's inspiring, it's motivated, and it's responsive to our customers, and I think that's so vital. Denise, thank you so much. I'm glad that you ran right over here after the iTalk. I truly do appreciate it. Keep doing the fantastic work that you do.
Thanks for having me. Good
Absolutely. We're going to take a very quick station break. I will see you right back here with another great interview 12 seconds from now. And welcome back to the Cisco TV Live studio, and now I'm on set with Alfredo Bouchot, our Senior Director of Global ENS Sales. Alfredo, that smile is just making my afternoon go well. How's the show going for you so far?
Very, very good. We are having a lot of traffic across all our booths and presence.
Crowds have been fantastic, and the engagement, I think, has just been particularly spectacular here on this event this year. We have been offering amazing AR and VR experiences at every event that I go to. We always take time. It gives people the opportunity to engage with our different applications, our different capabilities, our solutions across a lot of different industries and a lot of different sectors. What are we showing here this week in Amsterdam that's special?
Well, we just talked about sustainability and basically the people being to see what's possible, what Cisco enables. You cannot bring a customer to, let's say, customer wants to see a hospital working. You cannot bring them to a hospital. So we want to show them the capabilities without getting into the really, like the bits and bytes. We want to be able to have them visualize their environment and see the new business with the new capabilities. So like when you open the faucet, the water comes out. That's how we want to showcase with the scenarios, right? So we show them what's possible with Cisco technology.
And it's amazing when we allow people to do it themselves, it goes so much farther than explaining it to them. What do they always say? Don't tell me, show me. Now people can just go put on the VR sets, and the VR sets are getting better and better by the day. We can talk about that in a different conversation, but it's remarkable when they can do it for themselves, it just comes alive. What specific industries are these experiences for, and who do you think is really going to benefit the most from them? Who will really benefit?
Well, the business buyer, the business decision maker. We talked about like sustainability, real estate, facilities. not everybody can come to our offices and see them. So we're bringing those capabilities to them. But now we have experiences across many industries, manufacturing, public sector, transportation, sports and entertainment. Get the ability to go to a stadium and actually see what the stadium capabilities are all about. You don't have to be there. Now you can see it in virtual reality.
It's very cool. I got to play with a bit of it when we were at Smart City Expo World Congress in Barcelona last November. I also got to play with it a bit at National Retail Federation when we had it set up at NRF in New York in January. And it's remarkable that people, by the time they're finished, they stand up and they walk away, and it's like the light bulb has gone off. They get it. They've been reading about these different capabilities, these different opportunities. All of a sudden, it all connects through for them and creates a through line, right? Exactly. Was that your indication? Was that your guide with the team?
Yeah, basically that's what we do. And now we have the opportunity to actually, when a customer says, how do I build this? We have a table for them to actually talk to an expert and talk about what would you really need to actually get this going and take to the conversation to the next level.
Go into a little bit more detail on it. What does the table actually do? I mean, I assume this is customized to each individual customer who walks in the door?
Correct, yes. Yeah, so they actually start having a conversation about what's your vertical, what is what you already have, what would you really need, and how can we take it to the next, basically the next level, right? Because at the moment, everybody, do you want to see a hybrid work demo? There's no hybrid work demo in reality. You have to see it all in reality, you have to see it working. So that's what we talk to them about. Like, what would it take, what pieces of the puzzle? Because everybody wants to see, can you give me a bomb for that? We need to know what they have, we need to know where they're going, and we build a plan for them. So that's what the conversation is all about.
What about gamification? This has become so powerful everywhere. Have you put a little bit of gamification element into it?
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
We have some experiences that are gamified, very, very popular. So you can actually go to the New York City office and interact with the technology and actually learn about the products, how do they benefit you, and then you get points. And on top of that, you get the chance to actually write a McLaren simulator. So if you get some, you go through those experiences, you sign up, you actually sit on a McLaren simulator, and then you have the ability to actually win a nice sign cap by some of their drivers.
I love it, I love it, I love it. And that's actually going to guide us right where we're going now. So it's like you knew where I was headed at this point. Alfredo, thank you so much. Great stuff. I really do love what you're doing, and I hope everybody will take an opportunity to go and check out the AR and VR experience for themselves. Great work.
Okay.
That's exactly what we're going to do right now. In fact, we are going to head out into the world of solutions where Rob Boyd is in the AR VR experience for us. So Rob, what cool stuff are you seeing next door?
Well, at first I'm just so excited you got to talk to Alfredo, because I didn't realize how many careers have changed during our time at Cisco. But Alfredo and I used to work together down in Austin when I was a security overlay in the field, and I believe he was an SEM. So he's got the goods. He's been around a while. What a great guy to talk to. But another old friend that I've had forever, it feels like, especially at the shows here, is where I tend to run into Avi. And Avi, you're always pushing the envelope with the AR, VR. So we want to establish what is really happening here. Alfredo talked a little bit about the fun car and some other stuff, but can you show us how you've broken stuff down? What can we do here in the booth?
Certainly, Rob. So we have two areas here in the booth. The first one is a gamified version, and the second one is non-gamified version. So the gamified is more focused towards technical audience, and the non-gamified is more for business outcome relative conversation, where we can immerse customers in these, immersive environments. They can learn about Cisco solutions and the outcomes we deliver from those solutions.
Well, I'm going to drag you in here. Watch your step. Everybody, watch your step, because I've tripped every time. Okay, so over here you're saying this is very specific to the solutions that we offer, and this is kind of how we're bringing the solutions. Plus, this is where I think Alfredo spoke of the game. So if you score well here, you score well in the headsets here, then you also, after you've done this, you get a chance to do the car, and it's the combined score on this leaderboard that we need to watch out for?
That is correct. So they have to go through Pen 1 office, experience it, and once they're done, they will have scores for the points that they get from the game.
Okay.
And then they go to McLaren Simulator. That's a catch. Without this, you cannot go to McLaren.
That's a good move, because that's where I've seen the line, but you're saying those people had to go through the other stuff first.
Correct.
So you got to eat your vegetables before you can play with your candy. I'm mixing multiple metaphors. Well, let's go over, take a look. Steve said the car is cool, but it's just normal racing. You're not actually learning anything unique here like they've got everything else. But it's visual, it's fun, and you get a chance to get a signed baseball cap if you go through all the steps and you score well. So it's not automatic. So I wonder if you could expose for us a little bit about what they're seeing in the goggles, since it's difficult for us to do that here from the exterior. I'll have you come up here. Can you show us kind of what's happening with the new stuff.
So what they're seeing here is, what you can see here is a hospital campus, which shows you, like we take our customers to a hospital and show them how Cisco is enabling outcomes for your patients, for doctors and whatnot. If we go to a reception area here you can visit a reception of a hospital, then you can go to exam room or a patient room and show them how Cisco technology is relevant in this space. In here reception, you can see a WebEx board showing a digital signage or rough map about the hospital.
Okay, and see, what I love about this is, because what you guys are doing is you're working very hard to use the nature of this technology to bring the environment to someone who, especially a hospital, it's not like they're sitting around going, hey, can we go to some meetings at Cisco and learn about their new technologies? That's probably not feasible. These guys are busy, as in many other industries that you're doing. But I don't know if you're like this in a hospital, I'm always looking around going, okay, who are they using for wireless? Who are they communicating on? What's their infrastructure? And I have to poke in some closets and get thrown out a few times. Exactly. But here you make it easy.
Yeah, you just show, they can really visualize how they can make things happen in the hospital, how they can deploy next-gen technologies and deliver the outcomes for their patients and the customers.
Perfect. Yeah. Any final points we should remember? Yeah, please.
Yes, so these are available on the D Cloud as well. We have an entire AR/VR page.
Okay.
So all our customers can go there, access all the industry experiences on their headsets, on the browser, however they want to.
So this is really enabling internal, external. We're not leaving anybody out. You guys are still pushing that envelope, because every time I come to visit with you, you've got another 10, 20 type interactive demonstrations. Yes. So it's working well, I would guess.
Yeah, we have like 24 experiences now covering different industries. The latest one is the data center one. And it's available to our partners as well. So
Perfect.
They can
well, now that I know Alfredo is leading your group, I will fill you in on what you need to know.
Awesome.
We'll see. Thank you so much, Avi. All right, with that, let's kick back from the AR, VR space to the real world of the studio. Steve?
Thank you so much, Rob. I appreciate it. Avi, great job. Love what you, Alfredo, the rest of the team are doing in the VR and AR space. Well, now it is time to talk Thousand Eyes. New Thousand Eyes innovations are delivering seamless, secure digital experiences and monitoring that integrate application performance, that guarantee connectivity and that support your SaaS and your hybrid systems. We're going to take a very short break right now. Nish Parker is going to pick up the story just 10 seconds from now. Stay with us here on the live broadcast.
Hey everyone, it's great to see you here at Cisco Live 2024 Amsterdam. We're bringing you all the exciting action and we're here talking Thousand Eyes. Here in the studio with me, I have Joe Vaccaro. Joe, you are the VP of Product for Thousand Eyes at Cisco. A big, exciting job, especially with all the announcements we've made this week. It's been covered in the keynote. Firstly, how are you doing before we dive straight in?
It's always, every year coming to Cisco Live is such a wonderful experience to be able to be surrounded by so many customers, to be hear the enthusiasm they have, and also just to be kind of driven to understand the problems and the use cases that they want to see from Thousand Eyes related to their digital experiences.
So earlier in your chair, actually, about an hour ago, I was sitting down with Emma Carpenter, who's our Chief Security Revenue Officer. We were talking about security. Obviously, top of mind for customers, will continue to be top of mind for customers. And so one of the announcements that we've been talking about is an integration between Cisco Secure Access and Thousand Eyes. So I know you're going to be really busy. Your team's been working on this for a long time. Tell us what the team's been working on and what are we announcing this week?
When you think about a digital experience, there's three things you have to happen. First off, you need to drive the connectivity across that digital experience. Next, you need to be able to secure it. If you don't secure it in a way that's seamless to the end user, they're going to find ways around it. And lastly, you need to be able to provide the assurance. Can you be able to give the necessary visibility across each of those different domains that makes up the core connectivity and that core digital experience? And so we're really excited this week to be able to bring out to the public the integration of Thousand Eyes, providing the digital experience monitoring that's deeply integrated within the Cisco Secure Access, giving you a single endpoint client on the device, and then the ability to, through automation, to be able to automatically create the right level of visibility based upon the applications that you're accessing from that individual user's device.
Got it, and I imagine this has gone down well. How are customers reacting to this news? I guess they're excited, right? Easier job for them day to day?
I think what resonates is that everybody has this problem today. Everybody has employees that are accessing networks and applications from a variety of different devices in a variety of different locations, variety of different networks. And when you think about the problems that customers are trying to face, how do you identify and localize a problem, whether it's a device problem, a wireless problem, a local internet problem, maybe even a home internet problem, ultimately to the application. What Thousand Eyes really provides the power is the ability to easily see every network like you own it, and be able to quickly not only detect, but localize a problem across all those different domains that make up that digital experience.
Awesome, and I know the Thousand Eyes booth, I think you can't miss it. It's right in the middle of the world of solutions,
Yeah.
right? You've been meeting with lots of customers this week, I'm sure. What are some of the kind of top of mind things that are coming out of your conversations you're having?
What people find is that, as we mentioned, digital experiences happen in a variety of different ways, and you need to be able to measure how these digital experiences are changing. We're talking to people about how we can be able to help them from mobile devices, how we can be able to help to localize issues even when they don't own the networks, such as their home networks, how we can be able to bring together different data to be able to solve new and unique problems. It's a really fascinating time. We know that this is really just the tip of the iceberg of what value we can provide for our Cisco customers.
I love that. I know the music has started playing behind us. That makes me feel like they're celebrating the news and the announcement that you're sharing. So you've got some cheerleaders here at the show. Now, this announcement isn't the only thing that we're sharing this week, so share a bit more for the people that are home. They're not here in the World of Solutions, maybe next year, but what are the other announcements we're making, and what's the excitement and the buzz around Thousand Eyes?
This is just the next step in this journey to be able to provide the visibility that matters to our customers, be able to provide the level of proactive intelligence, and ultimately automate those workflows, be able to act on that, those key insights that we provide. In just the past year, right, we've announced integrations to be able to put our Thousand Eyes Vantage Points into Meraki MX devices. That's now generally available. We brought our endpoint agents into the Cisco Room OS devices, so you can be able to assure that digital experience from a conference room that you have. Now, this week, we also are rolling out new capabilities to provide deep insights into the underlying devices that they have, to be able to correlate what's happening from a device perspective, such as the top processes that are running on that user's device while they're accessing those applications. We're also rolling out new capabilities with App Dynamics to be able to kind of further integrate the full stack observability and network assurance into one cohesive solution, as well as providing just additional capabilities in our dashboarding, making it easier to act on those key insights and be able to push it into the core systems for where the resolution happens.
Amazing, Joe. Thank you so much for joining. It's always great to hear the amazing innovation and technology that is coming out. We're here on the World of Solutions. You can go and see it if you're here, play around with the technology. Thank you so much for joining in the studio. We're actually now going to head out to the World of Solutions, so over to you, Cedric.
Hey there, Nish. It's getting quite packed here in the World of Solutions, and we just heard from Joe about some of the integration work that has been done by Thousand Eyes with Cisco Secure Access, and I have an expert with me. I have Marco with me, who is a product manager, and he's just going to give us a quick demo of what actually that means right now. So Marco, over to you.
Yeah, thank you very much. So let me show you what we've done with the integration with Cisco Secure Access and Thousand Eyes. Essentially, what we're bringing is a unified dashboard for security and network operations teams, where you can monitor both your secure connectivity as well as digital experience monitoring from a single dashboard. So this is the experience insights as shown in Cisco Secure Access. It's going to show you the distribution of your work-managed endpoints across the globe, and I can check which ones are currently online. And from the distribution, I can go down and see the health of those particular endpoints. So this would be company-owned laptops and other devices. And then I can see how they connect to the network, what is their current latency, jitter, loss, Wi-Fi connectivity, and anything else that might be affecting the digital experience of the applications that they're using. The other thing that we're doing is we're measuring the experience towards the commonly used SaaS applications. So how does the connectivity to those applications look like from the Cisco Secure Access Cloud, AWS, Confluence, Dropbox, all the commonly used applications within a given enterprise. And what we're also providing is deep visibility into what is actually happening for a specific user on a specific endpoint. So in this particular case, we're zooming into a endpoint device, and what it is showing us is how does the connectivity look like towards the local network, be it wired or wireless, and then how does that connectivity look like to the Cisco Secure Access head end? Is that connectivity okay, or is there something breaking? And this is important when you're talking about measuring the actual digital experience of the applications, because they might negatively affect what is happening, for example, with your collaboration suites, your voice or video calls, which is something you can then see down here. This particular user has been using WebEx for a call, but we can see that, first of all, the endpoint health is looking fine, and the WebEx application health is, for the call that it just made, is also fine. You can see the latency, jitter, and loss, and then you can also see the timeline of the WebEx specific health scoring. You see that there's been a short call over here. However, in this particular case, everything was okay, and the connectivity both to the Cisco Secure Access head end as well as the application itself is shown as completely healthy. So in case something was wrong, you'd be able to troubleshoot and dive deeper if cross-launching into the actual Thousand Eyes platform.
So I think we have a little bit of time. What is coming up? Because I can hear that Thousand Eyes is leading the way, and I always describe it as the Google of the internet, right? So this is great with the integration work that has been done, but what's more in the pipeline? Tell us a little bit more.
So obviously we want to go much deeper with this integration. We want to provide deeper visibility in terms of unified experience and for Cisco Secure Access. One of the important things that we've heard from customers is that they want to have a single workflow or a single dashboard to touch both the security operations cases as well as network operations cases. So really working on this unification and simple, seamless workflows.
Okay, awesome, great. Thank you so much, Marco. We're going to go back to you in the studio, Nish.
So great to see that technology in action with Thousand Eyes there. So next up, we're going to head into an innovation talk. The talk is jointly put together with Cisco, with Intel, with IP Fabric, and we're going to be talking about sustainability, which is one of 5 big customer priorities that we hear about day in and day out with Cisco. So make sure you stay tuned with us. If you're enjoying it, let us know. Use hashtag Cisco Live and @Cisco Live EMEA. Enjoy this, and we'll be right back straight afterwards.
Thank you for that beautiful introduction, and hi, it's a pleasure and honor to be here with you. My name is Hendrik Blokhuis. I'm Engineering Director and CTO for Cisco. And again, looking forward to this session. Thank you for attending Cisco Live in my hometown, Amsterdam, in generally, and thank you specifically for attending this vision, and also the viewers that join with us online. Now, I'm here with 2 esteemed guests from 2 companies, both active in the ICT technology industry, but from totally different angles. So I don't think it needs much introduction, but Intel, Marit, you being the Vice President there for Channel and Partner Sales EMEA, and Joe Kershaw, thank you for being here as well, from IP Fabric, market leader on networking assurance. And when we briefed each other, we said, well, we've been an audience to many of those boring panels. Remember that? I mean, where people are talking to each other. So we agreed to have some excitement, but also some thought leadership. We gave ourselves a challenge to really address your topics. So please also don't be afraid to ask any questions, which could be during, after, or we will stay around here for a while as well to address this important topic of sustainability, because I don't know about you, but sustainability has been there for, I think, the past decade, when we called it green. And I, as a techie, always had a bit of a difficulty to translate technology into something pragmatic that really tied into sustainability, which was this overarching topic what nobody could be against it. But I think what we've seen through our 3 companies at least is that we can make it more tangible. We can make it more actionable, and that's important because it is a board topic nowadays. So let's kick it off. Joe, and again, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
IP Fabric, all about network assurance, business resiliency. How do you guys tie that to the topic of sustainability?
It's a great question, and it's a tough one to start with. The idea of resiliency along with sustainability, they're almost emotional words when you're speaking with leaders, because it's their necks on the line. When you're speaking with practitioners, managers, directors, people architecting, securing and managing these enterprise networks, it's a mandate, it's a necessity, but it's less emotive. It's something I need to tick. what we're seeing within assurance when it comes to business resiliency and to sustainability is it's based on confidence. It's the understanding of the enterprise network, the ability to understand it, communicate about it, bring people into the conversation, gives confidence. And this is confidence to plan change, confidence to make change, but confidence that you will be able to respond when the unknowns surface or the unpredictable occurs. So at the practitioner level, we're helping to get the visibility that's always been lacking, to help with the understanding of enterprise networks, to then help practitioners and managers to actually represent their enterprise network and the critical projects that they're running under the eyes of resiliency and bringing more confidence into the enterprise. Because the point for understanding is a practitioner's understanding is going to be different or focused on different topics to a leader or a CEO or the board or any of the other the business initiative owners. And so the idea is break down the necessity for all of the speeds and feeds and datas and engineering by bringing shared understanding into these enterprise networks so people can build resilient networks, people can join in the conversation of sustainability and resiliency, even if they're talking about really advanced engineering themes.
Yeah, so what kind of metrics would you tie to sustainability specifically?
So what we find, and a very dear customer of all three of us in Airbus, I spoke with their lead automation architect, Julien Monteau, of Airbus, yeah. And I asked him very specifically, I said, how do you, obviously with Airbus, there's a big drive for sustainability. There are CEO mandates within the transport and logistics sector, stronger than many other sectors. And he's a real thought leader, and he's out there leading the way to how they do manage networks, how they do build automation. And I asked him, how do you really make this tangible? And we had the discussion in two different ways. There is one, which I'm sure more themes will pop up with Moritz, that's about energy use, consumption, bringing in new technologies that can help operate enterprise networks with less consumption. So one is technology-based. The challenge with that is you're in data center environments, you can't do similar things that you can do with campus or telephony, wind things down, use low energy usage. You need this thing to be always available. And so then you come into the second theme, which is actually more about people and process. And when big enterprises are designing automation, it's about, and I'll come on to this a little bit later on, it's about how do you take the projects that you're running and you're planning and you're raising investment requests for and apply to the metric of sustainability. We are managing to operate our network with less mundane, manual human tasks compared to last year. This new approach is going to help us to reduce necessity of travel to data center sites, to campus sites, because we've brought the network visibility and the network understanding into a central platform that can be operated remotely, which was critical in COVID with distribution of resources. Being able to get that understanding centrally allows you to look at metrics of resource management and people and process within projects.
Yeah, excellent. Okay, thank you for that. Now switching to you, Moritz. I mean, Intel, I don't think it needs much of an introduction, one of the largest semiconductor designers and manufacturers. But I guess also a lot of pressure and focus and responsibility even to address the topic of sustainability, especially through things like your supply chain. What can you share with the audience on that one?
Sustainability is, sustainability is super important to us as a technology leader. Not only leading with technology, but also leading in front of sustainability. This is a big challenge for many organizations. As it relates to Intel, there are three key areas we're looking at. First, drive sustainability through innovation in the design of our products, software and services. That's absolutely key. So if you look at the latest generation of products we introduced, so we recently introduced Core Ultra, which are AI mobile CPU. which is significant improvement in performance, specifically for AI, but also the most energy efficient notebook capabilities.
Okay.
Yeah? Then from a server perspective or a data center perspective, we introduced our latest generation of Xeon, it's the 5th generation, which again has AI capabilities built in to ensure, again, to have significant more performance, like a 30% performance increase while a 20% reduction in energy consumption. So these are absolute key metrics for driving that sustainability agenda from a product perspective as an example. But secondly, collaboration with the ecosystem is essential. You know, Intel works with partners, through partners, and as an example, taking Cisco here as a key partner of ours, you're looking at the server design line, previous generations to today's generations, basically getting down from 15 servers to 1 is obviously a significant improvement, which
15
allows
to 1.
From 15 to 1
How do you do that?
By making sure we optimize the technology inside, working with a partner like Cisco, like how can we make sure not only our silicon provides better capabilities, but how do we build the infrastructure around it to ensure that we can move to the next layer of capabilities. So that's a super important thing for us, is Intel is really scaling through partners. And then last but not least, as a large manufacturer, reducing our footprint is critical. So we got very aggressive goals to reduce our footprint. So we want to be greenhouse zero emission by 2040.
The net zero, yeah.
So that's a very aggressive goal for a large manufacturer as Intel. But again, as a leader, you need to make sure that you are driving this initiative. And that will require a lot of innovation on our side, but also working again with the overall supply chain. As a key example, if you look at, go back a few years when we had the COVID situation, the supply chain was massively disrupted.
Yeah, we know all about that, yeah.
I'm sure many of you in the room also had the challenge of being able to get access to the right level of components. So if you look at the supply chain of semiconductors, and if you go back, say, to the 1990s, I think 40% of the semiconductors here were produced worldwide came out of Europe. 40%.
Wow.
Today, it's roughly 9%.
Yeah.
Same type of indicators happens in the United States. So the dependency of your supply chain is super critical. So we've been working with the EU and in the US with the CHIPS Act to ensure we can start accelerating the supply chain closer to where things are being built. So Intel has agreed to invest over 50 billion, euros over the next, say 5 years to 10 years or so in building additional manufacturing site. We're going to build a mega fab in Magdeburg in Germany. We're building a assembly test facility in Poland. And we've extended capacity also in Ireland. So this basically means that the logistics supply chain for semiconductors significantly less dependent on the global situation. So that's been a massive effort, which is obviously still underway, but that's super important for that overall sustainability, not only from a pure product perspective, but also what it means to the environment, the logistics which are involved.
No, and thank you for that investing in our region. So that's great, I mean, being an EU citizen. Back to you, Joe. You gave a good introduction about the relevance of networking assurance towards sustainability, but I guess all these people here have got boards and CXOs that set those mandates, putting themselves and the shareholders under pressure of getting those goals, whatever they are. What kind of advice or tips can you give this audience to address network assurance, or to take that as a topic and address towards those CEO mandates?
Yeah, it's a good question. The mandates are ever present, whether it's sustainability, whether it's resiliency tied risk avoidance, compliance and corporate governance, or whether it's new revenue streams being driven by faster time to market in applications, automation underpinning that. These mandates, they may sound great to marketing and they're beautiful at the top, They then need tiering down with consultants involved, legal to understand government guidance on compliance. So there's all of these layers where there's different conversations happening. And what we've been seeing over the last 5 years of the emergence of assurance as a technology space is the front-running customers of ours that are getting the most value from their network investments in the kit they're getting from Cisco, in the projects they're running, the consultants they hire, are those that understand they have a place at the table. Table's probably the wrong analogy if we're talking these multiple tiers, but there's an importance for networks and network automation to not be lab projects done in a dirty, dark room. They should be brought to front and center. And we see the people with the drive to get involved in the topics, getting the most progress in the shortest amount of time from the innovations that they're looking to adopt. We've seen it far too often that a customer will buy into the next networking solution, but doesn't consider how that solution plugs into the wider picture, how their tooling ecosystem needs to adapt in order to bring shared understanding into what they're actually delivering, but then think about how do you tie it up to the mandates. So if we take corporate governance, for example, we're doing a lot of work with Tesco globally. Big supermarket, tied into public infrastructure in a very critical way. They have regular audits. I'll say regular, they're annual. They need to be because of the sheer burden that's spent on legal, understanding, interpreting, consulting, turning it into architectural strategy, turning that into the ability to actually manage that within the environment. And what we're seeing is that the engineers and the management of engineering that take better network understanding and take that data and try and present it through a lens that leadership care about, presenting dashboards that tie directly into corporate governance. No longer is it a case of the network is up, the network is down, the application's supported. It's now a case of we're steadily making improvements week after week, month after month, towards better corporate governance, better resiliency, better preparation. And we as IP Fabric, as the vendor, we're not driving that change. We may empower it through the data, but it actually takes the nous, the energy and the passion of an engineering group to realize that their automation projects, their visibility projects do have a tie to business resiliency, to corporate governance, and everything that the C-level care about. So it's about speaking to thought leaders, speaking to people at conferences. How are you guys thinking about this mandate? How are you managing to actually plug your projects, your investments into this, and what sort of metrics are you looking at?
Exploring that. Yeah, I mean, that's brilliant inspiration. Thank you so much. Switching topic, and I'm sorry, I have to ask you this, Maurits. It's, of course, on the topic, the elephant in the room, AI. We talk about AI, but it comes at a cost, energy cost. What is Intel's vision? Because AI and ICT in general can be part of the solution as well as part of the problem. What's your perspective? That's probably being asked to you every single minute. So.
Yeah, well, I think today we're all talking about AI, we're all talking about sustainability, but they're both super important, and actually there is a great connection. So if you look at, so the way we look at AI is, we see the explosion of AI, the desire to compute more data. There is going to be more data flowing in. How can we be more efficient? So from an Intel perspective, we want to make sure we are looking at 3 key aspects. So one, start with the modeling. Let's make sure we optimize the modeling, the compression technologies. Let's make sure we improve so we become more efficient there from a power consumption eventually. And then software optimization. Software optimization, looking at the platforms like a PyTorch, TensorFlow. We got one API, which is a great tool which allows you to really determine which workload needs to be run on which type of processor. As an example, you don't need a GPU for basic workloads. There are many applications who just default to GPU. That's obviously not very power efficient. So we have this one API which really helps you to ensure we are using the correct processor technology to run those workloads. And then last but not least, overall software optimization and looking at the product line we lined up for AI. We're obviously well known for our core processors being in the data center or being on the client, but there's much more to it. We have a high-end large language model accelerator called Gaudi. Gaudi is the second generation. We just announced last December that the third generation will come out as well. And that Gaudi product line is basically a 50% less energy consumption than our competition. 50. 50?
Okay.
50.
Wow.
And then you're looking at the classic, more classic Xeon type based, where there's a lot of AI integrated. So what many people haven't seen maybe is we are building in accelerators into our core CPU. So you don't necessarily need an additional accelerator for many of the AI workloads. So if you look at our latest generation, again, we are talking about a 30% energy saving compared to our competition when you're looking at these type of data center solutions. So I think there's a long way to go in terms of understanding what do we want to do with AI. AI is super important. It has lots of benefits, but we also need to be considerate of where are we using what, for what. We don't necessarily need to default to building out a host of GPUs to do certain things. Let's analyze, what is the problem you try to solve? Do you need a GPU or can you do it in a standard processor? I think that's super important, and I think it's also part of our overall sustainability thinking, like what do we want to achieve? What is the outcome? And how do we line up the best technology in front of us to help our customers to make the right decision?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's brilliant and impressive, especially the 50%. And also going back to you, Joe, on that topic. Now, of course, I mean, Intel as a manufacturer has got a different angle onto this topic. But I guess AI also offers for IP Fabric a huge opportunity. If you look at the metrics, the insights, and to give it even a human interface using Gen AI, is any innovation popping up at IP Fabric on that area?
For us, it's more about how we're helping enterprise customers to force the network, to use the analogy, back up to the top table. We see in most large enterprises that the applications, infrastructure storage, the automation, visibility, understanding is 2 decades ahead of the network. The network has been disregarded for too long, or the approaches have been disregarded for too long. And what we're actually seeing is different stages of maturity, of course. We're working with one of the big hyperscalers out of the US, who are 5 years ahead of most of the conservative enterprises that we work with here in Europe. But what they've been able to do within a year of adopting network assurance is suddenly get a view on technical debt first, an approach to standardization of data and of understanding and of visibility into an enterprise network, and the representation of that network and its data as an API point. And what that has allowed to happen suddenly is there's been a program for the last 3 to 5 years on can we apply language models and AI to overall enterprise data sets to deem insights. Applications, yeah, sure. Infrastructure, yeah, sure. I say sure. They're figuring out the AI element and the actual value and the use cases that they can deliver. Networks, no chance. We're too busy running around, pointing fingers, trying to document, trying to fix our supply chains, get the right vendors in place and everything else. With assurance and an abstraction over that complexity, they're able to put the network data up into the same data explorer type of technologies, and they will be able to start applying language models and AI practices and policies and theories against the enterprise from applications, infrastructure, and networks. Okay. So we will look ourselves towards the application of AI within the compliance and the metrics that we are capturing as we look at relationships between devices, path routing across a particular network. But even now, we're in the position where we're helping organizations to accelerate the network and to be able to get involved in those sorts of topics where previously they couldn't.
Yeah, thank you. Brilliant answer. To close, and as a closing question, we try to serve the audience here. And thank you for the inspiration already shared, but In closing, Maurits, what would you like to share with the audience? Any tips, hints, thought leadership that they can take away with them? What's top of mind for you?
Yeah, well, I think I mentioned some of the challenges we see with AI and the opportunity. But again, for us as a leader, of driving innovation in the semiconductor industry, we take our responsibilities very serious. And what we've been doing with sustainability is from a manufacturing point of view. 100% of the manufacturing we have currently in this region and what we're building out will be 100% renewable energy. So again, it is really important for us that we care about the environment and we build that into our products, not only in the technology itself, but also in the way we're going to manufacture these products. So I really want to make sure that people understand that Intel is really taking this leadership position, and we have to be a leader in driving sustainability in that manufacturing supply chain. And then at the same time, the product we bring to market, that they are easy to understand and to use in the most cost-efficient way, as it also relates to energy consumption. So again, as I mentioned before, we don't want to make sure we throw a massive GPU to basic AI workloads. We just want to make sure we help, and we need to help more our partners to educate on what is the best solution to drive the outcome which is needed for your customer.
Yeah, true. And I guess, I mean, a lot of people here will also have supply chain operations, and I think you can also present a great example of, let's say, Intel on Intel, what you're doing to build like a trusted, secure supply chain going forward. I mean, that's another piece of inspiration. Thank you for that. Joe, back to you. What do you want to share with the audience?
As I've responded in most cases, it's more about the people, it's more about the organizations and the people running those projects than it's necessarily about us. But the lead point, or the final point that I would state, is all of the innovations and the projects that you're trying to run in the enterprise, they need the ability, or you need the ability, to bring people into the conversation. It's with the sorts of pressures of resiliency, sustainability, with timelines tied to them. It's not a point of overburdening projects. We need more experts, we need more of this, we need more scripting, we need everything. The point is, this stuff's needed for the execution, but to get people onto the same page, get people a shared narrative, and start actually making progress, you need to aim to get understanding. You need to standardize your approach to data, standardize your approach to data collection, and actually get people involved in the topics, which is difficult. It's easy to say, we're doing this thing that whizzes and bangs and it's going to be amazing, and it's going to cost X millions, but it's difficult to actually say, this is why is it important, this is what it's going to do for the business, this is our shared narrative and our shared understanding. And so the practice of bringing more people into the conversation is going to be critical if we're actually going to make any progress towards some of these lofty mandates with tight time frames.
Thank you, thank you. And I mean, as our dear sponsors, and thank you for that, you have an impressive booth here as well. Joe, can you share, if people want to know more, what can they find at the IP Fabric booth? Can you give maybe demonstrations or take a deeper dive into what you just said?
So just before this session...
Shameless plug?
Yeah, shameless plug. Just before this session, there was actually the Network Field Day session that was recorded around here. We've got the whole team on the booth, from our CEO to our chief evangelist to a team of solution architects, sales guys speaking all the languages of Europe, not all the languages, that is a push too far, many languages. The point of this is it's a different practice as assurance. We see it as an inevitable technology in big critical enterprises. You need understanding, you need the data that we're presenting. What I would represent here, or what we're representing at the booth, C12, in the middle of the world of solutions, is what does assurance mean? How do you plug it into your narratives? How do you build those narratives to make sure that leaders understand it? And how do you actually present your network and everything you're doing within the network in a way that leadership will actually care? So at our booth, we want to get stuck into those conversations. We want to run straight for the fire. What's your gnarliest project that you're struggling to get visibility into, struggling to get alignment on? And let's talk about it. Let's see if we can help you get the clarity you need.
That's brilliant. More than welcome. Maurits, what can people find at the Intel booth,
well,
besides you?
Well, we got a couple of demos. So we got our GPUs to start off, so you can see some demos there and some AI applications.
People get a free GPU if they scan the business card?
Well, it depends what you call free, but there's a lot of negotiable options.
Oh, that's good, that's good.
And then we do a lot of presentations on technologies we share, solutions we have with Cisco. So there's a lot of learning opportunity at our booth as well.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Any questions from the audience for Intel or IP Fabric? Or have they been clear? Like I said, those two great leaders will be around at their booth, and we will stuck here for a couple of more minutes if you want to reach out. Thank you so much for your time and attention, and let's give them a big hand. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.